right, ladies and gentlemen. My co-host will be joining shortly. Let's see. I have a friend, and he knows how to dig at you. And I read one of his Facebook posts, and I'm not going to read it word for word because it could possibly lead to doxing. We don't want to do that. He's of the ideology where, and I'll call it an ideology. He's of the type where you can't be racist against white people. And he's he's a feminist. He's very listen and believe. And I read a Facebook post from him. And essentially, it's listen to people of marginalized cultures, experiences, and evaluate your privilege based on their marginalization. And this is shortly after listening to Lords of the Night stream. And it was very irritating to listen to because I am, okay, and I can't really say I am part Native American, not full blood or anything, but I was raised on a reservation when I was growing up, and hey Steve McQueef, how's it going? Yeah, I was raised on a reservation, and growing up, I was constantly bullied because my skin was lighter than most of the other Native kids in the reservation. And just as a test, I'm like, okay, well, let me tell you my story. And I brought up, and I was very young anyway, I was 4 or 5. And from what I can remember of it, because it was forever ago, I remember getting thrown down to the ground a lot. And my brother and his friends would chase the other kids off. And yeah, I told him that story, and he told me that my experience didn't count because my skin was too light. And then he posts on Facebook about how we should listen and believe to marginalized folks and cultures and experiences. And the hypocrisy just dug at me with just after having listened to the Lord's Night stream where they were talking about a list of 100 things white people can do to make people of color's lives easier or something like that. Satsu 2 Cents said he would be doing a video based on that, and I'm looking forward to that for sure. And now we're just waiting for pretty much Cameron to show up. So let's find stuff to talk about until then. How's your day going, Steve? Are you in the chat still? Twitter. Yeah, weird. I've got some dead air going on here. I need to actually get things rolling. And Camel needs to get in here, so let's open up this line anyway. Let's see. Yeah, growing up, I mean, it's been pretty simple. But I mean, I've never hidden the fact that I was native or mixed native to any of my friends. So yeah, I mean, I've never experienced, the severe degree of racism. I guess it would be considered the microaggressions. As much as I fucking cringe when I hear that word. And yeah, it's I've always been able to. I've always been a fence sitter, so I'm not ashamed of admitting that. It's yeah, it's never been much of a problem for me. All right, so this is me again. Go over some news then. Always want to do one of those reactionary type streams, so this will be a way to test that out. Go to CNN. Let's see. Type of Bush. Yeah, that's. I wasn't old enough to really remember a lot of specifics about Bush's presidency. Let's see. Fareed Zakaria, are we at peak America? Oh, it's a video. Never mind. Richard Branson and others offer $3 million to reinvent air conditioning. Racist air conditioning. Racist and sexist air conditioning. I'll get that real quick. I'm just going to. Oh, music's playing in my ear. Let's see. Richard Branson and the Indian government offering $3 million to reinvent air conditioning. It's pretty obvious that air conditioning is necessary technology. Living in stifling heat is just uncomfortable, it's dangerous, which makes the fact that air conditioning is bad for our environment a difficult pill to swallow. After all, you can't just give it up like plastic straws or enormous SUVs. I mean, technically you can, but so the Rocky Mountain Institute, along with India's Department of Science and Technology and Mission Innovation, is offering $3 million to the air conditioning genius who can solve this problem. It's called the Global Cooling Prize. And it's designed to find more environmentally friendly solution to the growing demand for more AC. Oh, and there's a prize ambassador. Oh, and the prize's ambassador is famed billionaire philanthropist Richard Branson. According to a report compiled by backers of the prize, the number of room air conditioning units is set to triple over the next 30 years, moving from a current 1.2 billion units to 4.5 billion units by 2050. This, the report claims, will have a serious impact on global warming and could increase global temperature by 0.5 degrees Celsius by 2100.
Are you reading a tech manual?
No, CNN.
Oh.
I started because you were taking it long.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I'm not the only one that's verbose in my family. I think I come by it genetically.
No, I started just screaming and ranting, and the two people that came in and watched ran off.
Okay, so CNN article. What is this what's in the side chat here? Or is this
No, that's my friend's post, which I didn't quote verbatim because I didn't want it to get looked up.
When privileged folks make their understanding an issue, the key criteria for their believing in it, they recenter privilege at the expense of marginalized people, cultures, and experience. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, this is his peak ideology. Like when
privileged folks make their understanding an issue.
Oh no, he changed.
That's the same thing again.
So, yeah, pretty much. It's fucking stupid, regardless. Like, wow.
Is this the college-educated one you're telling me about?
Yes.
And what was their major again? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know, but he's a debate coach.
He's a debate coach?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh God, that hurts my soul.
Apparently, he's really good. Like he's not a slouch by any means. But
I want to meet this guy.
It's almost like I don't know. It's almost like the 300. Like whenever I bring up any kind of counterpoint, I am just, I'm a guy kicking the messenger into the pit. And then all of his friends come and just like, oh, you're a racist, you're blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's like every word in the stew of like,
Oh, just the whole alphabet soup, huh?
the whole buzzword stew just gets dumped on me. And I'm just like, yeah, my job here's done. Like, I'm just going to walk away now because it's not going to get any better.
That's part of the reason why I stay off Facebook. I don't want to argue with people that I know. I want to get along with the people that I know in real life. You know? And the best way to avoid that is don't talk politics or religion.
Well, it's like, have you when you watched Lords of the Night stream, the whole list of 100 that they were talking about?
Oh yeah, that list. That
with like as Satsu was getting irritated, like I was getting irritated, and so and I'm just like, I just, you know, in the middle of the night, I just scroll through Facebook and stumble upon that, and I'm just like, I hate life. It is ridiculous to even hear shit like that.
Well, I am kind of curious as to, I might pop back on Facebook just to see what's going on there, because I haven't been on there in a year.
It's best to stay away.
Oh yes, it's been almost 2 years since I've actually been on Facebook, and that was only for a few weeks in the spring of last year. And before that, the last time I was on there was like right after the election, just to see how many people were pissed that Trump won versus lost.
You know, and I was just watching a bunch of videos that popped up, like as I was bringing up the second screen. I was watching a few of Jack's bed come up reviews, and then one of P Dog Knight's videos popped up, and he set up one that was because he didn't get to catch the election results, and so he made a Hillary one and a Trump one just in case. He's like, oh, well, I know which one I'm going with, and he cycles back to the beginning. And then it's like, yep, that's why I voted for large asteroid. I think we need an extinction type event. It's getting bad.
I think we need someone to just go ahead and Thanos the universe, just thin the herd.
You know, I would gladly volunteer. Like if I felt myself disappearing, I would not. Oh well, this sucks, but oh well.
I can't get my head. I mean, I can definitely see that guy, a debate coach being a lefty like that. But at the same time, like my debate coach in high school, he was a conservative dude.
Yeah.
So,
like, I don't know, like it really kind of bugs me because like he also put out a thing. There was an article he posted about an opinion piece by a guy who's like, oh, the wage gap is a thing. And I'm like, I'm not touching it. I'm not fucking touching it. Like, I don't even want to. Like, I'll just roll my eyes and walk away because it's just going to cause issues.
See, what got me was like the wage gap is that is a. I dealt with that in one. I had a sociology class at a junior college in bumfuck Oklahoma, and they were talking about the wage gap. And me and this one other guy in the class were just like, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's like all the women that do the same job that I do get paid the same as I do. Actually, they get paid more because I just started that job and they've been doing it a while. How many McDonald's fry cooks are getting paid more than their counterparts because of what they got between their legs?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, he's like, oh yeah, it's more than just science and choice, and it's like it might be, but also if it wasn't, it would be fucking illegal.
Well, I mean, it's like how come I'm not making as much money as as a brain surgeon, or better yet, a lot of the customers I have are prison guards. They work at a prison in the area, and they
Yeah,
make pretty decent money, working for the Department of Corrections. And I've had numerous people tell me, it's like, hey man, you should go work for the prison. I say no,
yeah,
because you can't pay me enough money to go to prison. Because that's what you're doing for 12 hours a day. You're in prison. Yeah, you get to go home at the end of the day. You get to sleep in your own bed, If you got a significant other, yeah, you might get some consensual sex. But for 12 hours a day, you're in there with dudes who aren't.
yeah,
And they don't like the fact that you get to go home at the end of the day. So yeah,
yeah,
I don't care if it's $20 an hour. I don't care if it's 20,000. Still not enough.
yeah. My sister's, her ex, like, um, yeah, he's a prison guard up over over in Beer Lodge, and he was telling me all like a bunch of horror stories about like what people have done to try and get out.
Oh yeah, you guys are in the middle of nowhere. You must have some of the craziest assholes in the country.
Well, this guy stuck a clothespin, or not clothespin, paperclip.
Please tell me he didn't stick it where I think he stuck it.
He stuck it exactly where you think he stuck it.
Oh.
Well, he also fucked up sticking it exactly where you think he stuck it.
Oh God.
So, uh, yeah, he was bleeding profusely from said area.
Did they find out why he stuck it there? Because
Yeah,
that's the first question that's coming to my mind.
yeah, because the whole plan was I'm going to stick this end in here and I'm going to complain that I'm in pain. And then that was sort of an escape attempt. Like I was going to start an escape attempt.
Um.
And yeah, he fucked up and punctured his urethra.
Oh boy. Oh God, that's you know, break a hand. Yeah. It's, break a foot. Something else, anything else.
Yeah, it makes me cringe just even thinking about it. It's one of those stories you hear and it doesn't go away.
No, and thank you for that. No, that's just yikes. I want to know what that guy did. Was he a lifer?
I have no idea.
I mean, because that's an extreme thing to go through if you're just serving a nickel.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather just do the time.
Yeah, he must have been in for quite a while if he was even
Oh,
trying to.
there's a story I heard about here recently, and when I say recently, I mean like 2 days ago. Apparently, an inmate at the state prison, the state penitentiary, he was shipped to some county jail for some kind of deal. I don't know if he was being charged with something in that jurisdiction or if he was testifying against somebody else. But he was a lifer, and for some reason, this county jail, they put him in the drunk tank, and this new guy went to go get somebody else who had bonded out drunk and disorderly or something like that. And this dude, when this other guy's name got called, he just raised his hand. It's like, yep, that's me. And they let him out. He had a 20-hour head start before they realized they goofed.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah. And that's why I'm slowly becoming more and more conservative. uh, I really don't trust the government after hearing stories like that.
Yeah, I mean, as whenever I hear stories about, you know, well, this will be something, we're gonna do this, and all this technology will help us, keep these guys in line. It's like, but there's still people using that technology. They're gonna fuck up somewhere. Like I don't know, it hurts my brain to hear some of the stories. I'm muted.
But yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this guy's Facebook post here because this doesn't make any sense to me. I'm gonna try and read this again, see if I can wrap my brain around it. When privileged folks, and I love how they keep using the word folks, like they're fucking Woody Guthrie or something.
Well, how many folks?
When privileged folks make their understanding an issue the key criteria for their believing in it, they recenter their privilege at the expense of marginalized peoples, cultures, and experiences. Well, don't you have to have some understanding of something before you can, believe or disbelieve it?
Oh no, you have to immediately believe it. There is no.
See, that's what blows my mind about this guy being a debate coach. You're supposed to be, in debate, you're supposed to be able to look at both sides of the issue and argue it intelligently. You don't necessarily have to believe it, what you're saying, but you have to be able to understand it and argue it.
Yeah.
I want to know if he took any time at all to look at the converse of whatever this word vomit is.
Doubt it.
Because I would so love to meet this individual and talk to him.
Well, it's like I said, like when I started the stream. I told him when I was a kid, maybe like 4 or 5. I was raised on a reservation, and I told him that I was bullied and constantly shoved to the ground, having dirt kicked on me. The typical, not like
the typical kids are shitheads bullying, yeah.
Yeah, because my skin was lighter than theirs.
Oh, yeah.
And I've told him that, and he said, well, my experience doesn't count because my skin's too light.
Kind of flies on the whole you can't be racist to white people narrative, so
yeah, exactly.
Gotta.
Well, he's like, that's not racism. He's like, yeah, it is. Like, now, just because I wasn't, dragged, down the street or strung up to a tree or tied to a fence post,
Well, I mean, you grew up on a reservation that is literally sovereign land. So, in a sense, you were in like a different country inside of America where the power structure is entirely brown. And you were a minority as a white person.
Yeah.
How does that not fit their definition of racism, I wonder?
Because I got out of the reservation.
See, like the Choctaws, at least here in Oklahoma, they don't have any reservations. There's tribal lands, yeah, but they, it's usually like community centers and wellness centers, and they do have a school system.
Yeah,
they have what's it called, Jones Academy, which is really interesting because that's like you actually live at the school as a student, like you go home on the weekends.
Really?
Yeah, and so like my mom's like, no, I'm not going to send you off to school 5 days a week and not see you. I'm going to raise my kids. So I just went to the Head Start, for like preschool and kindergarten. And yeah, same story. Like, I was the white kid. I was different, so.
And it was weird because like it was just me and my sister. It wasn't even my sister. It was mostly just me that got, shoved around and such. So it's really kind of weird to have, and like looking back on it, it was, I mean, it wasn't, it could have been way worse.
Well, I got lucky just because we were like, 3, 4, 5-year-olds. So, I mean, they couldn't do anything too bad to, physically or mentally hurt me. But,
Yeah.
like, I was the white looking one. My sister, my younger sister, she presents more native. No one's gonna, if she mugs somebody, no one's gonna, call her a white person in the police report.
Yeah. I remember you were saying something about that.
That was like the one time that I experienced like a white person being like openly racist. As a buddy came to pick me up, he hadn't met any of my family, and my mom and sister went to go leave to go somewhere, right behind me out the door. And I get in his car, and he looks at me and goes, "Who's that?" Well, that's my mom and my sister. Oh, what happened there? He couldn't wrap his head around the fact that they were brown and I was white looking.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that's just because I stay the fuck out of the sun.
Yeah. If I go out like, into nature, I tan up real well.
Oh yeah, I'm half tempted to do one of those, like do that, like this upcoming summer. Just like spend a couple hours in the morning, out in the yard playing with the dogs, doing yard work, whatever. Just do like a before and after, like a picture from like January 1st, and then like a picture at like the end of August.
Like in the sub-zero, like no part of me touches the sun.
Exactly, yeah. Because I mean, I had this one job where my car broke down, and so I ended up having to walk. But it's about roughly 3 miles from like my job to my house. It took me about an hour to walk, so I'm gonna say it's about 3 miles. And I was wearing like a cut off T-shirt, so got the good farmer's tan in that hour. I got home, and my roommate, she did not believe that I was Indian. So I just lifted my shirt up, put my forearm against my stomach. I was like, that's from an hour of being in the sun. Didn't even have to show her my CDIB card after that. So.
Yeah. No, when I brought up getting the native name, like one of my friends, I don't remember what it was, but it was a really cool name. And I'm just like, I looked at my dad and I was like, I want one of those. Like, I just have a really simple name. And he goes, yeah, I'm not getting you one of those. Like, he's like, we might, and he's an elder now, so like, he's still on the reservation, and I'm just like, well, all right, whatever. I'll just live with what I got.
Well, like, for me, it was always like I didn't like. I wanted a different name. I just didn't want an Indian name. When I was growing up, I didn't like the fact that I've got a unisex first name. It can be guy or girl. You're not going to know until I walk through the door if you're doing a job interview. But yeah, it was never an issue of like wanting an Indian name. I could never think of one that I thought would be cool enough or anything like that. And then of course, it's kind of like giving yourself your own nickname.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're really lame. But I grew up like my mom's my mom's dad is the full blood Indian in my lineage, and he was kind of out of the picture. So I grew up around the tribe, but never fully in it.
Yeah,
I've got very minimal Choctaw language skills. I know some of the history. I know you know I do want to rag on Monkey if I ever get a chance to stream with him about him being Irish and me being Choctaw, because when the Choctaws were going through the Trail of Tears from Mississippi to Oklahoma, they actually raised money for the Irish suffering through the potato famine.
oh yeah,
Yeah, there's a I can't remember which county in Ireland it is located, but there is a statue, uh, in honor of the Choctaws' contributions to the Irish during that time. I was like, like, dude, we were getting, marched across the country in, horrible, horrible conditions, and we still had enough money to feed you fuckers.
yeah. That's what's really funny is because my dad's mother is she's our full native, I think, and then his dad was Irish and French, maybe. So like that's like when I tell people who are just like, oh yeah, I'm a summer native, winter Irishman.
Well, I just make that joke because I'm actually part Irish as well. So it's like Irish, German, Choctaw, and I think a bit of Dutch. So I always like making jokes about the different heritages that I hail from.
I
I love picking on the Germans, especially.
my tribe is the Squaxin Island, and when I tell people that, they're like, "Oh, I've never heard of that one."
Yeah, you just made that up, didn't you?
Yeah, and so I'm like, "Oh, you want my registration number, Nazi?" And they're just like, "Well, that's not what I meant by that." I'm just like, "Oh no, I can go get it for you."
Would you like to hear the origin myths of my people? Yeah.
But yeah, and
No,
then
I tell people that I'm a member of the Slapaho tribe.
it's like I will. Was it cheap? There's one that my friend came up with, and she's I think I don't remember what tribe she was from, but um, he calls me he calls me like the 16th Cherokee, and I'm like, no, I'm not Elizabeth Warren. But speaking of, actually,
that's way more than Elizabeth Warren.
well, and I was actually I was going to ask you before the stream began what percentage you are, because I know my percentage because they have to do it for registration purposes.
Right.
And I was going to introduce you as co-host and just like, and collectively we are 90% more Native American than Elizabeth Warren.
I'm registered as 1/8 because my great grandmother did not tell the Bureau of Indian Affairs who my great grandfather was. So whenever I have customers, who are of the African persuasion, coming to my store,
Yeah.
and they try and pull the race card on me, is like, dude, I could be black. There's no telling. Like, yeah. But yeah, I'm registered as 1/8. I claim to be 1/4.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Which I have a better chance of proving my claim of being 1/4 than Elizabeth Warren does of proving one of her ancestors was actually an Indian.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to. Let's see. See if we got 5.
And I don't even need a DNA test. That was my favorite part of that whole thing is that they actually got the Cherokee, Secretary of State
Yeah.
on CNN to talk about that. And I think Prospero mentioned it when we were on the Minions. And she's like, if you weren't watching the TV, if you couldn't see that man's complexion, he sounded just like another Oklahoma good old boy. Like, yeah, pretty much.
I sent the link to Skeptalk.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, Skeptalk, he's been around since the Trail of Tears, so I'm sure he'd have plenty to contribute.
I was contemplating sending one to Prospero. I think I'm going to. She's got an interview with Irate Prostate later today.
Yeah, I saw Skep tweet that out. That should be an interesting conversation. I wonder what kind of tangents her and Irate will go off on. Still, man, this boggles my mind. What other gems has this Facebook friend of yours dropped? I'm curious.
It's mostly stuff like that, but that's the only one that's really kind of just dug at me.
Well, because that's why I asked about his educational background, because I had one that I've known since high school, and I think I've mentioned her to you before, but she is going for her PhD in sociology as we speak.
Well, sorry.
She was the reason why I went ahead and left Facebook again after the election. Because before it was just people talking about how much they hated Hillary throughout my feed on Facebook. And that started in like 2014. So I was like, I am not listening to this for 2 fucking years. I'm not going to sit here and just listen to people. Like, no one in Oklahoma is going to vote for her anyway, so why are you guys bitching? Yeah, she might become the president. As long as you didn't vote for her, who cares?
I'm going to give just as big of a shit. With Trump and Clinton. So like, I could have cared.
I'm a member of the great unwashed. I'm part of the working class. Obama never packed my lunch for me. None of his policies really ever affected me directly. Again, that's mostly because I'm an Indian. I didn't have to sign up for Obamacare like everyone else. I went ahead and opted out of that shit. But
I already had a job that had insurance, so I didn't care. So like, I didn't have to worry about that.
Right. So yeah, I mean, like, Clinton, I was a kid when he was getting his dick sucked, so I didn't care about him either. I was a fetus when Bush Sr. got elected.
Well, what I thought was really funny is, I was still too young to give 2 shits about Clinton. Even though
I forgot about W. That's how much of an impact he had on my life.
Well, he did give me $300, so I can't really complain. No.
Well, I mean, I do have to take my shoes off if I ever go to the airport now, so there's that.
Yeah.
But I try to keep my ass on the ground, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Before Clinton got elected, they had a mock.
Right.
And I swear they do this to like fifth graders. It's
Same
always
with
just
me.
fifth graders. And yeah, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I'm voted for Clinton. And they're like, oh, how could you vote for Clinton? I'm like, because he plays the sax.
Because he was on Arsenio.
I, what do you want from me? Like, I don't know shit about politics, and I'm going based on who I see more of.
Well, I mean, in the 5th grade, you're only a few years removed from tying your own shoes and wiping your own ass. So, I mean, why the hell would they want to ask about your political opinions? I have no idea. But they did that with me in 6th grade with the 2000 election. And I had this one friend, he'd pull the same card, why are you voting for Al Gore? He's the vice president already? I kind of figure he knows how to do the job. he's for partial birth abortion. I was like, dude, it's 6. I don't even know what abortion is. What are you talking about? And then he tries to explain it to me. I was like, well, what the fuck do I care? I was already born. It doesn't affect me. Fuck off.
Well, it's like I was talking to a friend of mine about being gay, and he goes, when I was a kid, I always thought there was something off, and he's like, I wasn't actually able to put a name on it until I got to high school, and that's when I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he's like, he came out to me one time, and I'm just like, what does that mean? Because I didn't know. I think I was 16 when I found out what gay was.
I was like 13.
And I was like, and like people call me a fag and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't get it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when you're a kid, fag is just it's just an insult. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and so yeah, and I spent my entire like all my friends were girls. Like it's like my sisters and my mom tried to raise me as a feminist, and for the most part, I kind of was. And yeah, just like I used to be in the like they'd have like girl talks. Like my sister and her friends would have girl talks, and they'd actually let me sit in because I could bullshit with the rest of them because I saw the stuff that they were talking about. He's just using me for sex and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you're going back to him.
Oh, Monkey's on Twitter right now.
Yeah, he's going after AOC again.
You want to message him and see if he wants to come talk about some Facebook fucketry? I can DM him right now if you want.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, no, like I guess I could say my mom tried to raise me as a feminist as well, except she was actually committed to it. Treat women equally. If they try and punch you, punch back. So.
Yeah, it's always been kind of it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, see, I had enough separation with my middle sister that she had her own circle, I had mine, and we didn't really, if she had friends over, I pretty much stayed in my room, did my own thing. didn't invite friends over that much myself. I would usually go over to their place. So I never got into the girl talks or anything like that.
Well, it was kind of weird. Like, all my friends would want to come over when all my sister's friends came over.
Yeah, that actually kind of makes sense
And
to me, at
so,
least.
because I was so, like I was so friendly with the girls, and so they're like, "Oh, I'm going to use this, and we're going to hit on all these girls." And
You were a horrible wingman, weren't you?
I was bad. Like, there's no, yeah, it was awful. Like, I to this day I still call myself Captain Oblivious.
That's pretty much been the story of my romantic life. You know, every chick that I have ever been with is I've been aloof up until the point where they you know pretty much put their lips on me.
Well, that's like the mother of my kids. Uh, she asked me out, and I didn't even have a clue until until we were just sitting there. And then her son comes over, and he's my stepson. He's like, "Oh yeah, she likes you, right?" I'm like, "I kind of have a clue now." Like, yeah, a majority of the girls that I've ever dated, I think I asked one out, and the rest were like just things that happened.
Yeah, I've tried asking chicks out, and it always goes way smoother in my head. You know, if I'm just talking to a person, okay, cool. You know, just having a casual conversation, I can strike that up with a stranger on the street. But for some reason, you know, if I'm interested in a girl and I don't know quite that she's interested in me, just tongue tied and clunky, and just the back of my head, and I just hear a voice saying, "Just don't be a creeper, don't be a creeper, don't be a creeper."
And the first thing that comes out of your mouth.
Oh God, that sounded so creepy. Yeah.
Well, like my first girlfriend, well, I was grounded when I asked her out, actually. So I snuck out of my house to go to her work to ask her out because my friend's like, "Oh yeah, I bet a friend of mine that you wouldn't do this." And I go, "Fuck it, let's do this." Like, and so I went and asked her out, and then came back, and it was like, half hour past my curfew, and my parents were super fucking strict. And it was because it was school night, so I mean,
Right.
it's not, shame on them for enforcing rules. And I went and asked her out, and it was one of those like, okay, how do I ask her out? And so I just go, "Will you go out with me?" And she just busts out laughing, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that doesn't tarnish what's left of my self-esteem." Like, and then she said yes because she's like, "Well, like, what were you gonna ask me to do?" And I'm like, "Honestly, I have no idea." And she goes, "Well, I've been grounded for about 2 weeks for being, oh, because she's a Kirky Bricker also."
Ah.
And although she broke it by like hours, she was a partier, and she broke it by hours. I broke it by minutes. Like, and so it was kind of just that became a thing. And then we pretty much we kept getting grounded for various things, fight with my sister, stuff like that. And then we eventually broke it off because when we were together, I was so reserved that like she couldn't be comfortable with it because she was pretty open, and
She was in there like, what are you, a cop?
Pretty much. Like, hello, fellow humans.
Is this Jump Street right here? What's going on?
And so, yeah, like she split it off, and I'm like, okay, what can I learn from this? But no, when we were on the phone, well, she got grounded off the phone. And so I wrote a letter, and then I'm like, oh, well, what's your address? And she's like, well, I'm not going to tell you. And I go, okay, well, I'll find it then.
Just start sending smoke signals at that point. Hope she gets it.
And so, well, she gave me the challenge of trying to find her address so I can send this letter. And so I went through the phone book, and there's like, Montana's got a vast Irish population, and she's like redheaded Irish type, like very, very Irish.
So you were like, O'Malley, O'Houlihan.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I went through all of the people who had her last name, and I tracked down, when I was, allowed. I couldn't just, go out because I was still grounded. So I kind of had to, like, rush it, like when I was going between school and home and work. I would rush to the several addresses that I'd have, and then just be like, find which, like, if I could find her truck, then that's where I know she lived. And so I went back, and then I called her, and I go, like that thing, like, oh, don't be creepy, don't be creepy. And I go, hey, I found out where you lived.
And then there's that voice on the head again.
And
that sounded so creepy.
And she goes, really? That's how you're going to start this conversation? And I go, what? What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, like my first girlfriend in high school, I didn't know she liked me until her tongue was in my throat. That's how clueless I was. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go with this then. Like it was one of those weird ones. Like she threatened me with grievous bodily injury if I did not attend this dance. And you would figure that would have been the first clue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get that memo. I show up at the dance, and the school had like 2 dances a year. You had the prom. Oh no, you had a homecoming dance, and then the winter formal.
Yeah.
I showed up in like a button up from J.C. Penney's, collared shirt and a pair of jeans and some Vans sneakers. She was wearing her prom dress from the year before. I was like, oh, I'm so way underdressed for this.
Yeah, my first actual, my first high school dance was my junior year, and I think it was winter formal, and I wore, my friend's band pants, which is a size too small, so they were busting at the seams. His dad's old army dress shoes, an old wedding shirt, like it was this. They had this like butlerish type band around the stomach, and it was Like right, it was super small too. I later found out that it had like giant pit stains, and like it wasn't even mine, so I don't even know whose it was. And um, a bow tie that my friend took off of her stuffed teddy bear.
I'm not feeling so bad about the jeans and Vans now.
So yeah, like it was a patchwork suit. The only thing I rented from the tuxedo shop that we have here uh, was the jacket.
See, that girlfriend was also like the first experience I had with, realizing that if you're in a relationship, the woman really calls the shots in the relationship. Because we ended up going, to the prom together, and there's always that, discussion of, well, what are we going to wear? Are we going to match? This, that, and I really didn't care about, what we were wearing to the prom. So I was just coming up with these random, how about a zoot suit? Let's just go full on, Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal with this.
Nice.
She's like, no, we're not doing that. I was like, but it'd be funny. Come on, man.
You didn't hit that swing. You guys were there for the swing revival.
No, we missed that by a few years. She did like swing dancing, but she's like, no, I'm not taking a picture with you, in a zoot suit that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. It's like, okay,
Actually, we did a float in high school.
I do believe her exact words were, if you show up to pick me up for prom wearing a zoot suit, we're never sleeping together again. And that was the end of that discussion.
Yeah, that would be that'd be a thing.
Because while she may be a full-on crazy communist now, the pussy was really good back in the day. So I was, I was not gonna give that up just so I could moonwalk into the prom.
Yeah. No, and then that year we went to an anti-prom, which is casual dress stuff like that, and that was pretty much a waste of time. And then I've had a few girls who would actually show interest in me, and they told me they were interested in me. But then they turned around and were like, "Oh, you're friends with this guy, so we're not dating." And it's like, well, sucks to you then. Like, I'm not gonna give up my friends because you don't like them.
See, I would always end up getting, I would have chicks who'd be like, they'd tell me like if they liked me or something, but it'd always be like when one of us was in a relationship. Or they'd wait until like years later. It's like, I had a crush on you in the 5th grade. It's like, well, thanks for telling me now.
Like, I hate you now.
No, I had a girl tell me that. She's like, when we were in 5th grade, I had a crush on you. I was like, when we were in 5th grade, I thought you were a real bitch. I don't think it would have worked out. And then there was a story about a cop in Oklahoma City who went to prison for he was convicted for sexual assault on a bunch of different women. And they did one of those, Nightline stories on him. And I swear to God, a girl that they had on camera, they didn't say her name, but they didn't blur her face out. They didn't change her voice or anything like that. So she's on camera sitting there talking normally. They just, she asked not to be named in this piece. Talking about, dating this guy. They met at the gym, and I was like, I know that bitch. We went to grade school together. It's like, that figures she would end up dating a rapist.
It's always weird when stuff like that happens.
I went to go visit my mom, and my mom loves those Nightline stories. I don't watch TV. So, like, if I hadn't been visiting my mom, I wouldn't have seen this. Like, I know her. Holy shit.
Well, it's like my dad, I was going through town with him. He lives in a small town just north of here, northwest.
Mm-hmm.
It's a town of like maybe 700 people. And like 700 to 1,000. And, we see this old scraggly dude on his bike. And he's walking out of the grocery store. We're walking in. And he goes, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "Yeah, it's been all right. All right, have a good day." Whatever, normal small town bullshitting. And later we find out that that's the Unabomber.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow. He's still in prison, right? He hasn't died yet, has he?
No, I think he's still in prison.
You see, they had that Netflix series come out with, was it Sam Worthington and Paul Bettany playing Ted Kaczynski?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I watched that, because, I realized that, it's like, holy shit, that happened in my lifetime. Because for some reason, I was thinking that it was earlier. I was like, that was the 90s. Holy shit.
They're actually doing a movie based on it now, based on his arrest.
I keep forgetting, so much stuff that has happened, like, just in my lifetime.
Yeah, see, as of 2010, the population there is 1,013.
Not bad, not bad. I prefer smaller towns. I get frustrated just driving, like, up in Tulsa or Oklahoma City. I don't want to go anywhere, definitely anywhere bigger than those places. Like Gutenberg was trying to sell me on the idea of going to, go see New York. It's like, fuck that. There are 10 million people there.
No, my friend took. You ever seen the show Forged in Fire?
I can't say that I have. Is that on Netflix, TV, cable?
Yeah, History Channel.
History Channel. Okay.
He's done a couple episodes of that. He's a blacksmith. Over a couple hours away. And he did 2 episodes. And what they do is they forge weapons based on like historical thing. He did a Kora sword. Let's see. Share this real quick.
But yeah, I remember, Gutenberg put us all on the spot on the Minions when where would you want to visit? Where would you want to go? I was like, I don't know. I mean, for the longest time, my go-to was like, go see the British Isles, but no, not anymore.
Yeah.
I think
that's not working.
I think I'll just wait until all the British people immigrate over here to get away from the UK before I experience their culture.
Like this. This is the type of weapon he's made.
That's interesting. Huh. And which civilization used a sword like that?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure.
It says GurkhaAntiques.com. Okay. So, like Indian subcontinent or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
See, this is definitely an area where Prospero or Skeptok, they would just. Skeptok's a Wikipedia editor for crying out loud. He'd probably give us a dissertation on the history of this weapon.
Nepali origin.
Oh, from Nepal. Okay.
Yeah, you had this part which is used for cutting, and then if they got close, you can use this as a bludgeon.
Just bitch slap them with the broadside.
Well, like you had this part which is you can crack a skull with this son of a bitch right here.
Oh yeah.
And then you got your fighting side, and then your Negan side right over here.
No, it's been an interesting week for me. I've started up the new work week a couple nights ago. I've already had to throw people out twice this weekend. And it's the same two guys I told you about throwing out that first night.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. One came in. Well, they both came in last night, and one came in on Friday night, Saturday morning. And it was really funny because the first time, dude came in by himself, and there were other people in the store too. So as soon as he got his feet on the welcome mat before the door even closed, I just looked at him like, "Get out!" And he just throws his hands up, kind of like, "What, man? What?" I was like, "You're not supposed to be here. Get out!" Like, "Fine, man. I'm going. I was like, "Well, get to stepping then, dude. You ain't left yet." And he's sitting there trying to argue with me about him leaving. It's like, "No, man. This what is this? Is this a sketch? I told you to get out. Get the fuck out." And then him and his brother came in this morning on my shift. And again, it's just like, just get out. Well, go. What did I do, man? Just get out. You're not supposed to be here. You're banned. 86. Get going. Beat your feet. And can I get some documentation? Something like, no, you can get the fuck out. What's really funny is since I started working there, I've quit shaving, and so I'm starting. I've got a couple months worth of growth here. I've got a not a great beard, but a decent one started.
Oh, I can't grow one.
And I'm already a big dude. I'm like 6'2", 210, 215, somewhere in that area. And so now I just look like a fucking lumberjack.
Nice.
And the best part was like these two guys, they try and look hard. Like one's got a tattoo on his face, for fuck's sake.
Well, welcome aboard, Terry.
Hey Terry, how's it going? Oh, we got a RoboFoot.
Oh dear.
Oh no, now you're coming in clear.
Stupid thing. How are you guys?
Doing all right. Telling Johnny about throwing out my favorite customers time and time again.
It's almost
the internet. You could just block them, and they physically are unable to return.
Well, after watching all those streams that Sinatra's been doing, the Darian Long streams, I really want to get a taser, but I don't think my bosses will let me. Because I would zap those guys in a heartbeat.
You could always go with the cattle prod.
I just want to electrocute them a little bit. I don't want to actually maim them. I don't want anything that they could sue me for.
Well, no.
Because these are bums, and if they get a whiff of free money, they're going to try and jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you put a sign up that says, "I will tase you."
At least with like a commercial taser, I know, they're going to have a bad day, but unless they got some kind of heart defect, they're going to live. They're not quite fat enough for a cattle prod.
Like if you break the 86 and you spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on, that's your punishment.
I'm half tempted, just get a taser and a body cam and see if I can get Sinatra to do a stream. Camel don't play, because there's enough customers. I could, over the course of a couple months, I could probably clip together some good footage. Yeah, like I said, I work right by the housing project, so I've had one guy already try to get himself committed. He had me call the cops to have him taken to the local booby hatch, the Oklahoma Finger Paint Academy, as I like to call it. And I swear to God, the dude looked like Sam Hyde. I half wanted to snap a picture of him to tweet about it, but I didn't think it would look too good. Me, digging my phone out of my pocket on camera at work to take some random dude's photo.
Well, if you just explain that it's for Twitter, they'll understand.
I mean, about as crazy as shithouse rat, so he probably wouldn't have cared. But what can I say? I had scruples.
You got rid of those yet?
It comes back from time to time. It's kind of like shingles. You don't know when it's gonna pop up, but eventually.
Well, it even sounds like a disease. Scruples doesn't sound like a particularly nice thing.
Well, I mean, it is a nice thing to hold yourself to standards, but I mean, it's just not enjoyable.
Yeah, I'm just saying the name of it doesn't sound flattering. Like scruples does sound like a disease.
Exactly, yeah. It sounds way worse than like lupus.
Yeah.
Sounds like you got a case of the scruples.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Camel. The diagnosis has come back. You have terminal scruples.
It's stage 4.
But no, these two idiots. And the funny thing is, like everyone in the projects knows these guys by name. And they're even banned from that place too. Like if the projects manager found out they were on property on site, she would call the cops and have them arrested.
They're real winners.
Well, I mean, you don't know. Do you know how bad you've got to fuck up to get kicked out of low-income housing?
No, I mean
real bad. I mean, there are dudes who are sitting on their second strike who are living over there. They're one fuck up away from having a free hots on a cot for the rest of their life. So, yeah, if you're getting kicked out of there, you're worthless. But what gets me is they always act like they don't know why. Talk to anybody that knows you. It's because you're a shitbag. That's why. Now get the fuck out.
No.
And
You got it all wrong. They're good people. Oh
yeah, I'm sure they're one step away from being a doctor or an engineer. They just need that one person to give them a chance. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to be the convenience store attendant. I'm not their ticket to a bigger and better life.
If you were just nicer to them, they could be curing cancer within the week.
Oh yeah.
What was that? Have you guys watched that Matt Christensen video? Where he's talking about
school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. That is crazy. First of all, how bad is your situation to be that you've got to trust an Amway salesman with your kid's education? What was he in, marketing? And his wife was a nurse?
Yeah, that was messed up.
Who made that video again?
Matt Christensen.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
so
you know, it was someone that I watched regularly. I just couldn't place which one.
well, what gets me is like I had never even heard of this place until
My,
seeing his video. I was like, wait, what?
my favorite line is the Ronald McDonald wannabe.
Oh yeah. It's like, how are you in marketing and not know that this picture is going to turn out bad?
A Ronald McDonald cosplayer. That's what it was.
Yeah, and the other one was Grimace.
Oh, that's right, right, yeah. No, I just have to know, like, did these parents ask any questions at all? Because I mean, that was what, a 10-minute video. I had a ton of questions.
And they just wanted rid of the kids for 8 hours a day, or 6 hours a day, or however long it is.
But see, like, did he explain how they funded that? Because they said it was, they got away with all this because it was a privately funded school.
Wasn't it tuition fees?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they were
remember.
doing low income students and everything. So how are they paying the tuition fees?
Can't remember, but
Yeah, I have to
yeah.
go back and listen to that one again because just the first time around, I was sort of like, wait, what? Not how? Huh? Because that was beat into my head as a kid. It's like, if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. So, like, I've been going through my whole life like, no, pass.
Yeah.
I probably missed some good opportunities too, but it's just like, nah, that don't sound right.
Well, I don't think it's worth the risk. Like, the number of times it's actually a genuine opportunity is minuscule compared to how many times it's a scam.
Oh yeah, like see, here's the thing. Like, I've actually had experiences with scams before. Like, I got a check in the mail from the Ohio lottery
Mm-hmm.
for like $4,000, and my mom's like, "So are you gonna cash it?" I was like, "No." Like, I've never even been to Ohio, let alone played a lottery. Why would I cash this? Like, let's not forget the fact that we live in Oklahoma. So, but yeah, it's just like, oh, and that made me look at my mom real funny. It's like, wait, are you telling me that you would cash this check? It's like, that's
That's
why we're poor, Ma. You've been making bad decisions.
yeah. If I got an unexpected check for nothing, that's very dodgy.
I asked her, like, do you answer emails from the Prince of Nigeria too?
No, he's my friend. That's cool. I'm just
Well, no,
talking into a tough spot.
that's what I asked her. Is like, how far are you willing to go?
Actually, we are friends with P Dog Knight. Yeah, don't forget that.
Yes, the lawyer dog.
Yeah, and he is actually the son of a village chief. I believe it's in Nigeria.
But yeah, so I mean, I look at everything just kind of. I don't even say that I'm skeptical or a skeptic. I flat say I'm a pessimist.
As you should be.
What was that line? I'm probably butchering it, but was it a pessimist is just an optimist that's been fucked over by life enough, or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that. Yeah. I mean, I prefer to think of it as a pessimist is an optimist with life experience, but
Oh yeah, that would be the PG rating for that statement. Of course, I grew up around rednecks and oil field workers, so
mhm.
we go straight to the.
Yeah, I grew up with miners and loggers.
Yeah, I just in a normal city. It was just random people. There was no theme to their occupations or anything. It was just, random office jobs and plumbers and just random people.
Well, like when I was growing up, like my mom's husband was in the oil field, and I just thought they were a bunch of dicks. It's like no, like but yeah, they were a bunch of dicks, but also like they were blowing off steam because they were literally doing a job that they could die every single day.
Yeah.
Just one fuck up, and that actually happened last year. There's a bunch of guys died in the southeast part of the state. An oil field explosion.
Yeah,
there were some of them that they just found bits of them.
Definitely not a job I'd be willing to do. No.
Yeah, that's another one. Like I was telling Johnny earlier, I would always have people tell us like, well, why don't you go work out at the prison? They make pretty good money, state job, pension, healthcare, yada yada. It's like, yeah, but you're spending 12 hours a day in prison to make that money.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't care if it's $20 an hour. I don't care if it's 20,000 an hour. You can't pay me enough to voluntarily go to prison.
We wouldn't be as a prisoner.
Yeah, well, still,
Not technically.
I mean, you're a prisoner 12 hours a day.
True enough.
The prison guards, they get the shakedown when they go in there to make sure they're not taking in contraband or anything like that. So I mean, you've literally got one of your coworkers, patting down your balls to make sure that you're not, sneaking in something you're not supposed to. I'd rather not have a job that required that.
Well, yes. I mean, I'd prefer not to. But...
Which is why I don't complain about a wage gap between convenience store clerks and prison guards. They're doing a job I'm not willing to do. So yeah, pay them more.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to complain about the wage gap? That's disgusting.
Not between me and a correctional officer.
Well, you could hire an immigrant to do it for 15 cents on the dollar.
Oh, who do you think's in the prison already, man?
Yeah, probably just visiting family.
Well, it's he can reside there and do the job.
There you go. 2 birds, 1 stone.
I see you come from the Escobar School of Prison Reform, huh? Oh man.
So Terry, I googled my name.
Yeah.
And I googled Hey Camel, and then I googled yours, and yours is coming up with some interesting results.
You probably found my grandfather with his corruption scandal. That's
Is that your actual name?
Yeah, my name's Terry Diamantis, and if you do a Google search on my name, when I do it, I get my grandfather in the results, and
actually, I gotta say, the first thing that pops up is my girlfriend says Game of Thrones is boring. How should I break up with her? Answered by Terry Diamantis.
What did I say?
There's a Paul Simon song that cites 50 such methods. And then you posted the song. That's the first thing that pops up.
Nice. I'm happy with that. That's better than what I was expecting. Because when I do it, because my grandfather worked for the Labour Party, which is like a political party, and he was accused. I have no idea if he was guilty or not, but he was accused of corruption, and the investigation usually fills the top results. So yeah, I'm happy with a song reference as my number 1 result.
Oh, see, I've got a similar story with an uncle of mine he was found guilty, and he was a mayor of a small town here in Oklahoma. He got busted on corruption charges.
Oh,
So
my grandfather was found not guilty, but I have no idea if he actually was. I didn't get involved in that side of things at all. So maybe he was falsely accused. Maybe he was just good at hiding it. No idea. I stayed out of it. So.
oh no, there's my uncle and my grandfather. If I mention their name like anywhere within 3 counties of where they grew up, there's somebody local who will tell you all about my jailbird uncle. So it was really funny. Like the only person I've heard talked about like more about their political corruption was a local state senator who I'm not going to name. The guy's long dead, but it would kind of give up my general location. And so far, I've only narrowed it down to the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. I don't know if I want to go any
fair enough.
Any more specific.
Deeper down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I just put in chat the link to the thing about my grandfather that comes up when I do a search on my own name. So, yeah, the Independent Commission Against Corruption investigated him, and yeah.
Here's the second question you answered. My son watches video games being played on YouTube, and most of the time he prefers that to actually playing the game himself. Should I be worried? You answered, yes. Yes, you should be worried. Your son is having fun, and this must be stopped at all costs. Of course, there's nothing to worry about. He's just watching videos. Is it any better or worse than watching? Oh, where did it go?
Well, that's I stand by that.
Like I can't wrap my head around why you would want to just watch videos of people playing video games instead of playing video games.
For me, it's talking to the person streaming. So, like, when Badger is streaming, I can give him a hard time and be obnoxious to him.
Oh yeah, well, I mean that's actual interaction. I'm talking about like watching like a YouTube video where it's been edited and everything.
If Badger uploaded a video of him streaming, I wouldn't watch it because the whole point of watching it is to grief him and annoy
Is he
him.
ever going to come back to YouTube or no?
No, he said that he hates YouTube and loves Twitch basically. So he's permanently on Twitch, unless Twitch screws him over somehow. But
I did like when he was doing the Minding Freedom streams. That was fun.
Well, he has declared that Minding Freedom is now dead, and Badgerman has taken his place.
I nearly caught him on one of his Twitch streams. I nearly got him to make a Nazi joke.
Yeah, that was great.
The funny thing is, like, I got that joke from listening to Kraut and T before he went all blitzkrieg on the alt-right. Yes, life is like Belgium. Sometimes you just got to march through it.
That's a great line.
It is. and the fact that it was a German I heard actually make that joke was even better.
Can you remember this answer there, Terry? What is Stephen Colbert's net worth?
I probably said something about does he even own a net?
Yeah, that's it. Are we sure he even owns a net?
Because that would be my stock response to that question. Just,
I'm like, if he remembers answering it, he'll remember exactly what the answer was.
Yeah,
like, that is very Terry right there.
Yeah. When I saw that was just first thought that popped into my head on how can I deliberately misinterpret this question was just, well, does he even own a net?
Yeah, I've been liking doing my donations where on like the close of the night, where I was talking about late notifications.
Hmm.
And the fact that I've been getting at least a chuckle out of the guys on that, it's satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Because I made that joke too, because they were complaining about notifications, and mine work. I mean, most of the time I get notifications when I'm supposed to, but about 5 minutes into the stream, I sent a super chat saying, "This is just a notification that the stream has started," and they like that.
Yeah, I followed that up with the whole kind of ad with one.
Yeah.
Where it was it was like I think it was like a half an hour into the stream.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this is your notification that the chat is that the live stream has begun. Sponsored by YouTube. YouTube, you have no future here. And then my one that I sent, I think it was on Ranting Monkeys. Was it Ranting Monkeys or Scribe? Oh, Scribes, because he's the one that read it. Also, I think this was like an hour and a half into the stream.
Yeah.
And it's the same, you know, this is the notification that has started, sponsored by YouTube. YouTube, where out of touch and mental illness come to mate.
A random off-topic question.
Yeah.
Is this you guys? You remember Old Saint Neck?
Oh, of course.
Did he actually go ahead and start a Twitter account? Because this one's got over 24,000 followers.
Yeah, he's got a video with another guy.
Yeah, that goofy kid that looks like an anorexic.
Yeah, the all next matter.
This kid looks like he just stepped out of Auschwitz. That is not healthy.
I mean, I saw that. I don't know if it's him or not, or if it's just some guy who wants to pretend to be him. But yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not going to trust this until he gets the blue check mark. But I mean, it's funny though.
Blue check this. Just send it to Jack. Just hey, blue check this mark. Blue check mark this guy right now.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know this is the legit neck.
With the YouTube notifications, it won't work for the Lords of the Night because they don't actually use it. But a $0 pledge on Patreon is actually a much better notification system than subscribing to someone on YouTube. So if you like someone like Tim Pool, who actually posts his videos on Patreon, you'll get a notification every time he does that, as opposed to the sometimes I feel like the notification system that YouTube employs.
Wait, are you telling me that you can patron somebody for $0?
Yes, you can. There's a follow button. And
I'm so going to patron Satsu for exactly 2 cents a month.
But yeah, you can follow them, and then if you click the follow button, it says, "Do you want to become a patron?" And then you just don't. But that will give you access to all their free updates, which is usually their YouTube feed. Because most of them upload in both places. So like Bearing, for instance, all his videos are on Patreon as well as YouTube. Much more reliable than using YouTube.
I'm trying to come up with more of those types of ads.
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't think he's doing ads like full time like he was.
No, he's
He's
given
doing
up on that.
he's doing a few, but they're like very
Well,
specific
he
people
only
that
did
he's doing
some.
it for.
He only did some recently because of Weibo's charity stream. It was because people donated to charity. He decided to do them. You can't buy ads like you used to, where it was just a $10 donation and you tell him what you want.
Yeah. No, and that's why I kind of like.
I think
started
Sanguine
getting-
broke him, is what it was.
Yeah, it was. That's
with
why
the history things.
what I
all the-
suggested and Scribe ignored me was that if anyone doesn't claim their charity ad, just give them all to Sanguine.
Oh. Yeah, Scribe is a sadist, not a masochist. I don't think he'd be down for that.
But yeah, Sanguine really pushed him to the limits with his bizarre ads. It's like some medieval sword from thousands of years ago. I want an ad about it.
Well, it's like a Sanguine, Skep, and Prospero. They all make me feel like I did when I was in, I think I was in high school, when I heard the story about this like 14-year-old girl getting accepted into Princeton. Yeah, because she was like, a couple of years younger than me at least. And I was just sitting there, I was like, I'm like a B average student, and she's already going to college.
Yeah,
She skipped 4 years of high school. What the hell am I doing with my life?
I've been on a stream with all three of them. I did not say a word. I didn't need to. Those three can talk.
Well, that's like the last tweet that I sent to Skeptalk. I'm like, finally, I have something I can contribute. Like,
It's a bit like that because they're all so knowledgeable about so much, and then I'm just sort of sitting there going, "Yeah, I'm just going to sit this out." And then, so if the topic shifts to something like, "Oh, I actually know about this. Yes, I can talk."
Well, like if I was on stream with Prospero and Skep, I just ended up sitting there like, why did they invite me to this thing again? I just tell dick jokes on Twitter,
But not only those two, but Sanguine as well. Like all three of them were on this stream. It's like, why am I here?
I'd be much more at home on like comic book curation than I would on Minions of the Zoo.
It depends who you get on with. If it's a Skep Talk night, then the conversation might be a bit sort of intellectual. But if you get someone like Chaos Eve, who just talks about whatever happens to cross her mind. I mean, last night I was on with Hammer, and that was just chatting about nonsense. We talked about the weather for half an hour. So, yeah, depending on who's hosting, you can get a very different experience.
I haven't tried to get on my nights off here lately because Skep has had a pretty full house the past few weeks.
Yeah, I prefer smaller number of people on the stream at a time. So once it gets like 5 and 6, like I'll just watch. I don't want to try and force my way into a conversation that's already that densely populated.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of those times when you're like, oh, all right, we got developed from the conversation that I had something to say.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, hopefully it comes back, and then we'll just, otherwise we're just gonna go on ahead.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than having like a group of people talking, and then you have like the perfect line for something, and before you can get it out, somebody else says something.
Yeah.
And the whole conversation diverts with it.
Oh yeah, because you realize it's like, oh shit, well this joke is not going to work anymore. The timing is off.
Yeah. unless you can subtly manipulate the conversation back where you want it.
Yeah, but that's that can be hard to do sometimes, man. You
Oh,
don't want
yeah,
to end up
no.
you don't want to end up sitting there like telling a joke and have the timing be off, and then just sit there like Jeb, just like please laugh.
Actually, that's gonna be my closer for my next notification thing.
Yeah.
Is where it's like YouTube, where even Jeb Bush can feel welcome. Now, please clap.
But if you did do a please clap or please laugh, that would get a laugh because it's a reference to something and people would understand it.
Yeah,
So you could save a failed joke with that line if you wanted to.
I think I'm gonna send the link out to the Twitter.
Just to see who turns up.
Yeah.
That could go really good or really bad.
Well, we've already had the Phantom Fapper, so. Yeah, me and Jack Cochran.
Hopefully that guy's at work or something, man. It's 1:30 in the afternoon here.
I think he's. I don't know. I think he's Korean, but that's just me assuming a race.
But no, I've been taking Sinatra's advice on following just like a gang of porn stars, and what I think is hilarious because a lot of them were on the whole thought audit thread.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And it's like like some of them. They're not like contract stars or anything like that. They're doing their own thing with the different cam sites and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, are you paying your taxes? Because prison is not going to be like Orange is the New Black.
No.
Just ask Janine how that worked out for her.
There was one woman I was watching on YouTube who was talking about the thought audit thing, and then in the comments it was all, "Have you paid your taxes?" And she was more offended at the thought that she would be stupid enough to call attention to the fact if she wasn't paying her taxes than the accusation of being a thought. She didn't care about that. It was like, do you think I'm so stupid that I'd make a video about this thing if I wasn't paying taxes properly? Are you crazy? I don't want to.
But no, this is a funny one. Apparently, this one's Happy Hanukkah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah. You ever notice there aren't nearly as many like Hanukkah themed pornos as there are like Christmas ones?
Well,
And I think that's really obscure.
Oh, here's one. Success greets you in private, and failure slaps you in public. Do you really want these truisms, I guess, and these yeah, I mean, I can't argue the point, but I mean, at the same time, like,
I mean, as a general rule, you don't want to think of porn stars as real people.
well, no, like actually, like one of my favorite porn stars is Asia Carrera.
Yeah.
You know about her?
Is she a member of Mensa?
Yes, and that blows people's minds when I tell them that too. It's like she was she graduated high school. She was going to like Rutgers at like 16 years old. Went and taught English as a second language in I think Japan for a year when she was a teenager. Was like a concert pianist. Played Carnegie Hall. Was a member of Mensa. Coded her own website. Set up her own like video game server in the 90s. I can't remember what game she was playing on there. But it's like, this woman, you know, insanely hot, insanely intelligent, and like she left porn, she moved to Utah, and she said, you know, I've got nothing against porn, I just didn't want to raise my kids around it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Why don't you ever hear those fucking stories when they're talking about porn? It's always some, you know, some chick who got strung out and you know, got molested as a kid. Like she's like, you know, I never got diddled when I just like to fuck. You know, like, God bless you, sweetheart. You know.
Yeah.
That's like Tara Patrick. She's from Great Falls. Like you never heard?
Yeah, yeah. She she was like the editor of like a porno mag after she got out of making videos. I think I got a couple issues around here somewhere. That's the funny thing. Like when it comes to porn, I'm the most organized motherfucker you've ever seen. You know, I've got backups on my backups. I've got, you know, porn on the computer. I've got porn DVDs. I've got magazines. My best friend told me, he's like, man, you're the most organized pervert I've ever met in my life. I was like, damn straight.
I gotta say, when I Googled you, Camel,
oh God,
Magog is the first person that pops up.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I have no idea why. It says the Hey Camel YouTube, and then the first thing that pops up is videos is Magog gets a feminist stripper.
Oh, I made a comment on that one. That's why. That's the one where he had Modern Medusa do a little guest spot topless, and I said something to the effect of there appears to be a problem with your upload, Lord Magog. There's some unfortunate pixelation at the end of the video.
Because I got chess results because of the H8 being a square on the chessboard.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've got like chess variants. What else? Can't really tell. Cheskers, Revolvi. So all these chess results come up when I do H8 Camel.
Hey, you guys are making me curious. I'm going to go ahead. I've never Googled myself, so.
Yeah, it's the Hey Camel and the videos. A Satsu video also. Midweek Saints. And then the picture of actually your avatar.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit, it's got my fucking birthday on there. I'm gonna have to change that.
Well, that didn't pop up on mine.
Oh, that's just because it's on my account. You know, me using Google. Never mind.
I've got Humphrey the Camel, a Facebook page.
There's some Minions of the Zoo that I was on.
Yeah.
Shoe on Twitter. What? Okay, what is this?
Cheskers.
Why is there a link to Shoe on Head's Twitter of Armored Skeptic dancing in his underwear when you search my name?
Yeah, that is. Did you comment on that?
It's not popping up a comment. I sure as fuck didn't like it or retweet it.
Yeah, because that is right there.
Nope, yep, I did comment on it. Okay, I had to scroll way down.
What was your comment?
I thought Armored Skeptic wore a suit. Now he doesn't even wear pants. What gives?
And then
that was my comment.
The first thing that is not. Let's see. Here's a tweet with Trends Map.
Oh yeah, I'm getting the Cheskers and Humphrey the Camel as well. Okay, let's scroll down.
Hey Camel, this waffle is made of falafel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I said something of Yeah, if you tell me you're making waffles and you hand me this, you should be deported immediately.
Yep, that's almost word for word.
Damn, I'm good. I managed to remember something I said on the internet.
Oh, okay. This must be a chess thing.
Yeah, Cheskers.
No, Herbuch der Kurd whatever von Gaw. Earl Giesler.
Okay.
I am intrigued enough to go check it out. Let's see. Oh, it's just a page from the book.
Well, lucky for me, having the letter H and the number 8, there's no Nazi shit coming up. So,
fortunately,
fortunately, yes.
You don't want to be like Hitler foretold.
At least it's Greg dancing around in his underwear and some chess variant.
So you don't want to secure a future for whatever it is?
I'm not that white. No. I'm not getting in the ethno state, so fuck them.
Let's see.
But yeah, I've never understood that. It's like well, man, if you want to be surrounded by white people, pick up and move to Poland. Like they want an ethno state, but they don't want to move.
Well, I mean, Americans have the stereotype of being fat and lazy, so they, you know what, we want this, but everything should change to suit us. We shouldn't have to actually do anything.
Well, I mean, how many black people are there in Alaska? You don't even need a passport.
I've never been.
Well, I mean, if you're an American, that is, you just hop a flight, and there's like, what is it, like 1 million people? Less? A lot of legroom, that's all I'm saying.
Mine's just an IMDb page, and it's not even me. Same name, just not even me.
What I think's hilarious is Monkey in the Morning has an IMDb page.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, and he's also like the name of like a K-pop group.
Wait, there's a K-pop group called Monkey in the Morning?
Called Ranting Monkey, actually.
Oh, okay. That's still weird, but...
So, will you be watching No Hope Left, the movie with Johnny Hellcat in it? Or the TV series with Johnny Hellcat in it?
I may check it out. I want to know if I'm a good actor.
It seems like something you should know, yeah. It's that is pretty funny that there's an actor with your name.
Yeah, because I came up with this. Actually, it was God. It was like everyone was calling me George from like high school on, and it was trendy. It was irritating. And so I was trying to just come up with something different. And then like, well, if people are going to call me, George, just based off the fact that, it was Curious George type shit. And so I'm like, okay, well, I got to at least try and adapt it to something else.
Yeah.
And so I attached that nickname to Hellcat. So my first Yahoo chat profile was George the Hellcat.
Fair enough.
And so yeah, it pretty much went from there. And then I'm like, well, forget it. Like there's only very few people that still call me George, and they're like really close friends of mine. And so, yeah, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just stick with this, and Johnny Hellcat's a thing. And so I made. That's like when I was still playing like like SmackDown versus Raw, like wrestling games like that. I made characters based on that. That's pretty much when I started using that as kind of as a nickname.
You know what I really want to happen now? I want someone who's a fan of the actor to see you on Twitter and just freak out and go, "Oh my God, it's you! I'm a huge fan. I loved you in whatever the thing was called."
No Hope Left, the
Yeah,
Walking Dead series for the web.
there you go. I want someone who's a huge fan of that show to see you on Twitter and just freak out and just total fanboy.
Yeah.
Well, what gets me is it says TV series 2014 dash, and there's nothing else.
Still running.
Well, no, it's got 0 episodes on the episode guide.
So, this Johnny Hellcat's not a prolific actor then?
Or nobody took the time to update the shitty IMDb page for a web series no one's seen. I'm gonna have to find that now.
Yeah, if you do, put it on Twitter and I'll watch it as well.
Let's see. It's got an official Facebook. Yeah, it's from the USA. It's in English, but I'm not seeing any link to where you could watch this.
I'm Googling it right now. It's all it's popping up is the IMDb page, and then it goes straight to the car.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, I finally listened to the latest Rogan podcast where he had Anthony Cumia on there. I found out while listening last night that Rogan follows Anita Sarkeesian.
Well, because he agrees, or because he likes to laugh at her, or does he say
no? I mean, I think it's I think it's because he had Sargon on the podcast, and Sargon would not shut up about Anita.
Well, yeah, him and Thunderfoot had massive bonus for Anita back in the day.
Well, and even he's just like, aren't you taking it a little far?
Yeah, because it was right at he swung by the podcast right after VidCon. After that was that was still fresh in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was funny.
He and I knew he was talking about Anita just because he mentioned like her Twitter header. The Trust No Man necklace that she's got on her profile. Yeah. So I was like, holy shit, I know who he's talking about. It's like I would love to see Rogan, just scrolling through her timeline and looking at her tweets and getting his reaction to them.
Yeah.
If she was on his podcast, would you watch?
I would, but I'd probably get the same feeling that I get whenever he has like Abby Martin on there. Like me and Jim Healis went back and forth on Twitter, just complaining about that podcast. I think Jim tapped out at like an hour roundabout, and I just gritted my teeth and just went straight through it. But yeah, anytime he's got like Abby Martin, or he used to have the Young Turks on there too. He had Jink and Anna on a couple times.
I'd watch that.
The funny thing was, like, I used to watch them, in my early 20s. And I thought they were entertaining. I didn't really, think of them as a news source. And then for some reason, like I stepped away from YouTube, just for whatever reason. I come back and, I start watching them again. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I think the story that really stuck with me, that made me say, nope, I'm too old for this shit, was they were talking about a protest at the University of Texas.
Yeah.
Because Texas, they really love their guns down there, and I don't blame them one bit.
Well, I've heard.
But they had a protest on campus at the University of Texas at Austin called Cocks Not Glocks
Oh God.
to protest I don't even know if it was concealed carry or open carry on campus. Students were walking around with dildos on their backpacks.
Nice.
Because apparently you're not supposed to have dildos, but you can have guns. I was like, yep, sounds like Texas. But
Like
the way they were
next
talking
door.
about it, the way they talked about it, they try to link it back to like the Texas clock tower shooting in the fucking 60s.
Did they get Anna to say that she was fucking better than someone?
No. This was, I think, yeah, this was well before the election, so she hadn't quite got all the way up on that high horse just yet.
Okay.
But yeah, hearing both Jink and Anna saying the words "cocks not glocks" in that order, I was like, I just put my hands up, like, nope, I'm done. You know, fucking give me Peter Jennings, give me, give me fucking Dan Rather. I'm not gonna listen to this shit.
Yeah, that I'm fucking better than you was from Harambe.
Yeah.
With all the racist
She was
memes.
getting mad at memes.
Yeah, racist memes though. Racist ones.
And like I can't for the life of me figure out, like, you studied journalism. Granted, it was, some school no one's ever heard of, but you studied journalism, and this is the best you can do.
They compared Harambe to a black man. I wouldn't do that. I'm better than you.
Well, what I think is really funny is, you notice they never mention like the race of the kid that fell in the enclosure,
No, that's true.
which
We all know
that
he's
tells you
white.
right off the bat it wasn't a white kid. Because if it was, Jink and Anna would have been on that like a hobo on a Christmas ham. This white lady let her kid fall in. Where were the parents? Why weren't they paying attention to the kid?
Yeah, an innocent gorilla got killed because of the neglect of these white people.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, that kid's black.
Yeah. Did you just look it up?
Yep. And I could come up with a joke, but I'm not gonna.
If you wanted to go really racist, I think we're on the same track.
Oh yeah. I could say something really bad, but I'm just not going to right now.
Oh man, that was I think that was the topic of Sargon's latest video on the Thinkery. He was talking about I guess they're gonna start giving the cops guns in the UK to combat knife crime, and it was all dealing with the gangs of the Utes.
It's probably going to be more effective than a baton.
Yeah. I would say so. I mean, they do say don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Well,
Yeah. Don't bring a baton to a knife fight.
In the stills of this Google search, like you can tell that kid was in no actual harm. Until people started reacting to a kid being in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's when the gorilla, kind of started stressing out.
oh yeah, I mean, just
Although I'd hate to be the kid known as the human who killed Harambe.
oh, I saw a meme of exactly that. It's like a job interview. It says, so tell me about yourself. It's like, well, when I was a kid, I fell into the gorilla enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo, and he just says, "Get out."
Harambe died for our sins, you prick.
And what I thought was really hilarious was like Pornhub did like the 1-year anniversary of Harambe's death. Dick's out for Harambe.
Yeah.
It's like how is it that Pornhub has they do have the best marketing.
And the product that everyone wants.
Well, yeah, that doesn't hurt. But like, their response to Starbucks, just beautiful. Like, I want to know who runs the marketing for Pornhub and for Wendy's, because whoever those people are, they deserve a raise and all the support and recognition the internet has to offer.
Yeah, well, Wendy's for sure. That is just a great Twitter account.
Yeah,
Like that whole IHOB story this summer, they had the best response to that. Somebody asked them, was like, hey, Wendy's, you really gonna let IHOP work on your corner or something like that?
Yeah.
They're like, we're not too worried about it. How good can burgers be from a place that thinks pancakes is too hard?
Yeah.
I mean, they just go straight for the jugular every time.
Yeah. And other companies have tried to do it, but they don't do it properly, and they end up just looking stupid.
Oh yeah, like if Wendy's was roasting me on Twitter, I would just sit back and observe. I wouldn't even get offended. It would just be like like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
But you see some of the other ones try and do that, and it's like, what are you, a fucking asshole?
Yeah.
Dude, there's some pretty harsh Harambe memes that came out. Oh my goodness.
And I'm willing to bet you that none of those are the ones that Anna talked about either.
Let's see. Let me share this one. Oh, that's awful.
No, like they focus on that one, like the fat black woman's like, they shot my husband.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think they even got to the ones where they were comparing like Leslie Jones to Harambe. I don't think they even got that far.
I don't think
it's like they did a Google search of just like the name Harambe, and they picked like the first few images that popped up.
There was one where they had a white gorilla saying, why
oh yeah, this never would have happened.
Jesus died for our sins. Harambe died for our memes. Rest in peace, my savior.
Oh man, trying to. Oh.
Okay, that's a great one.
If it broke in the news tomorrow that CNN that Clinton actually killed Harambe, I would totally believe that.
I do think it's pretty funny, this whole I have information that will indict Hillary Clinton, and then it's all dead people.
Okay, Terry, since you're not big on movies, that's from Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come. If I'm not mistaken, that's supposed to be Ray Liotta's character.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's Shoeless Joe.
Right.
Was it that, or was it from not Field of Dreams, but
no,
Sandlot?
That's right, Sandlot.
It's supposed to be Babe Ruth.
Yeah, the Jet. He's deciding whether or not he's going to go after that ball. Good catch on that one, Johnny. I about really fucked that one up.
That's the one I was. That's what I was looking for. Oh no!
I like the one that says, "Roses are red, violets are blue. I wish you were a gorilla pit so I can drop a baby in you."
That's so wrong.
The sad thing is that's probably an actual title to some Cosmo article.
Probably they just changed the picture.
And the women who read that are still wondering why they're single. Like, if you try a sex move that's going to destroy my dick, yeah, I'm not down for that.
No.
Have you guys read through like any Cosmos or anything like that recently? Any of those women's magazines?
Not recently.
I've done that before.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yep. It's interesting to occasionally thumb through one of those because I have to wonder who they have writing the sex columns. It's got to be like a nun or something, somebody who has no practical experience, because some of that stuff is just.
Maybe it's just a person who hates men, and so they're trying to ruin sex for men everywhere.
That would be the more likely scenario.
Like if we tell women to do this horrible thing to their men, no men will ever want sex again. Yeah, let's do it.
It's some gay editor who's sitting there, is like, you know what?
Oh my god! Sorry.
Yeah, that's what 2 years ago now, isn't it? Harambe?
Yeah, something about 2016 thereabouts.
I don't even want to click on this one, but I do.
Oh god.
Okay, never mind. That's okay.
I was killed because the truth too.
Yeah.
And how shittily designed is the Cincinnati Zoo? I mean, how old was that? That kid was still in diapers, wasn't he?
I have no clue. It looks like he was young enough to.
How poorly designed was that zoo that kid was able to get in the gorilla enclosure in the first place?
That's true.
Because I remember they had a story about that was actually a Joe Rogan bit. He was talking about this one zoo. Yep, May 28th. There was one zoo somewhere in the country where some kids broke in like after hours and were hectoring the animals, and they were throwing pine cones at like a tiger. And finally, the tiger had enough of their shit, and he jumped the fence of his enclosure and killed one of them.
You can't blame the tiger for that, though.
No, not at all. But like that was Rogan's whole point of the jokes. Like, you have this four-legged killing machine that can jump like 16 feet in the air, and you only got like a 12-foot fence. Did no one think to put like a roof on this thing?
There would have been more sense. But I don't know why people taunt zoo animals in the first place. Like,
it's because they want to get a reaction out of that animal. They don't want to just they don't want to walk and just see this this lion just laying there doing nothing.
Yeah, they all want the Jurassic Park moment with the goat and the T-Rex.
But yeah, if I'm surprised enough when I can actually see a lion, in the first place. But to want to be like, yeah, I want this thing to roar at me. Here, let me just huck a pine cone because that's not going to go bad.
I always like checking out like the polar bears, because I mean, when I was a kid going up to the zoo, it'd be in the middle of summer. It'd be 90, 100 plus degrees, you know, like 40 something Fahrenheit for you. I mean Celsius, Terry.
Wow, that's very hot.
Yeah, very very fucking hot. And you've got these animals who, they live in the cold, and there's literally nothing cold around them.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you poor sons of bitches. I'm so sorry.
It's like I took my kids to the Hogle Zoo in Salt Lake, and we went and saw one of the polar bears there, and it just looked miserable. I mean,
Yeah.
it had the cold water and everything, but it was just like da, 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 just not even barely moving.
And like those are like the only species of bear that they only eat meat. So like they're just getting like hunks of meat tossed at them. They don't get to kill anything. They don't get to maul.
Yeah. It would be fairly unpleasant being an animal in a zoo.
So like when I see them, I was like, man, this is like seeing an inmate. This is like a locked up, Ursine edition.
Yeah.
But then
Shout
you
out
walk
to-
over like the giraffe. They got little kids in diapers feeding them leaves, so they look happy as a pig in shit.
She's probably already gone, but I'm going to say hi to Gabby.
Oh, was Gabby in here? I was
She's
I
in
was still
chat.
looking at this IMDb page.
She was in chat for a bit. She got to go to work.
I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, I did you have any Black Friday shopping, Johnny?
I was actually on the other side of the Black Friday shopping this time.
Oh, that's right. Me and my girlfriend, we did make a one purchase for Black Friday. We got us a couple of TVs for the new place.
Okay, cool.
Our old TV, literally from the Clinton administration, and probably weighed about as much as I do.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got tired of, like, I was like, we got to do something about this. We moved in the new place. It took me and another guy to move the TV. Like, if we ever move again, whoever moves in this place is getting a new old TV, because I'm not taking it with us ever again.
I don't blame you.
So like one of the consoles.
Oh yeah, it's one of those 90 something, mid 90s model TV. Like a 40-inch screen TV. The worst part of it though is like there's no good way to get a hold of it to carry it anywhere. So
Yeah.
you always feel like you're about to drop it like right on your foot. But we got her a new TV for the living room and got me a TV for this computer room. So
Nice.
yeah, I just got to get some wall mounts for it and mount it up on the wall here and get started playing video games on it.
I don't think I did anything particularly out of the ordinary for Friday of Color. Just usual stuff. I mean, I bought stuff, but just like dinner that isn't on sale. It's just
Well, I
whatever I
take
would
that back.
normally.
I did get one other thing. I finally got 7 Days to Die on the Steam Autumn sale.
Okay.
That's like $8.99. I can't pass that up.
I don't want that game. Not my kind of thing.
I've been meaning to buy some Steam games. I just haven't put the effort out there.
Oh, I do enjoy playing that game, but it would be more fun if had someone to play it with like on a server, because I get to about the middle of the week on that first week. I get to about day 3 or 4, and I'm sitting there and scavenging stuff, and I haven't tried to build my own unique base yet. I've just been fixing up whatever place I find along the way. Haven't even made it to a horde night yet, but I get the feeling I'm going to die pretty quick going solo.
Yeah, I buy games that I'm never gonna play. Like I'm sure I'll get to them one day, but realistically, probably not.
Well, before buying 7 Days to Die, most of the games I had were uh, turn-based strategy games, like Empire or Civilization.
Fair enough. I mean,
I think the one I've got the most hours logged on Steam playing is Empire Total War.
I've got so many games that by volume, I've got all genres covered. Like you can't have 1,800 games all of the same genre, even if you really wanted to.
Well, I did find like one good first-person shooter that I liked on Steam. The only problem was nobody fucking plays it, so it's all online, multiplayer.
Which
And
game?
it's Heroes and Generals.
Okay, I don't know it.
I liked it because you can play as the Allies, the Nazis, or the Soviets.
Okay.
And depending on which faction you choose, like they actually
Like
have where you can play like small maps, like just like assault maps. They have, and that's all infantry. You just have your infantry guys, and you can play larger maps. You can play as a tank commander or a pilot, and they have full scale wars. The only problem is like when I logged in to start playing it, there would only be like 200 people worldwide playing.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
pretty
and
poor showing.
and so when you're sitting there as a noob trying to find a match with people in your skill level, you could be waiting for a while.
I bet.
And so I finally was like, you know what? I enjoy this game. Like that was the game where like I actually started thinking, it's like, I might be able to make a run of this whole keyboard, PC master race bullshit. Because I had one match where I got like 23 kills and 0 deaths. I'd finally managed to unlock like a sniper rifle, and I would just sit like on the edge of the map somewhere and just near like a spawn point. I would camp like a motherfucker. I didn't care.
Well, I think that's a perfectly legitimate way to play. I mean, it's up to the game to discourage you from camping if they don't want players doing it.
Well, it's not like I was sitting like right on their respawn point. I would be off a couple of 100 yards away.
Yeah.
I would actually play like a sniper.
Well, my approach is the players should be doing everything they can to win, and it's up to the game designers to prevent anything that they see as, not fun. They need to be the ones who design the game so that playing in a way that they don't want you to play is ineffective. Like with Doom, they wanted you to get up close and personal, so they gave you massive rewards if you killed the demons with a melee attack. They didn't want you sitting back and sniping, so they used the game mechanics to pretty much force you to play the way they wanted you to play. And so if they've designed their game so that sniping and camping is extremely effective, that's on them. That's not on the players.
Well, it was also the fact that I learned those smaller maps, really well.
Yeah.
So I knew like, okay, well that's the objective. My respawn point's on this side of the map. Theirs is on the other side. So I would just kind of go to like one of the other corners of the map, and I would see them after they respawned at their little safe spot.
Yeah.
They would go. It was almost like a meat missile. They would go straight for the objective. They didn't zig. They didn't zag. You know.
Okay, so they deserve to die then. It's
Oh,
very, very good.
absolutely. And the best part was like I played enough to where I learned how the game physics worked. You know, because they did pretty all right with like the bullet drop and leading targets
Okay, that's good.
and so I would get it and you could use the little scroll button on the mouse to zoom in or out, to adjust your range. And I would just pop, and the dude would drop.
I used
And
to in Call of Duty. There's we played. It was one of the rare times when we played like Capture the Flag or one of the other ones, and like I just went for it because like everyone was in like defensive positions, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go for it. So I just went straight for the goal, and you could just hear one of the guys on our team, "Yeah, don't do that. You're gonna get." And then like they killed him before they, and I still made it to the thing where I was getting the flag, and I'm like, and yeah, he was just screaming at us the entire time, like we were doing that, and I'm like, you're the one that got killed, man. I don't know what to tell you.
well, what I thought was hilarious was like I was so in the zone in that one match with the 23-0 that I didn't realize it until like the end of the round. And because like a couple people tried to like add me as a friend on there after that. I was like, oh no, this was a fluke.
Yeah.
Because I would get my ass handed to me in like the close quarters, scenarios. Give me a sniper rifle and a guy who's just gonna run in a straight line, and oh yeah, man, I'm Annie Oakley. I'm Carlos Hathcock. But you put me in like a warehouse where people are running around, grenades are going off, all helter skelter, and yeah, I die real quick.
I'm not very good at first person shooters. Like,
Like, as I've gotten older, I've realized it's giving me eye problems, man. I start getting the motion sickness now.
yeah, that sucks.
Oh yeah, like if you gave me a controller and had me sit down and play Battlefield or Call of Duty right now, I might make it through like a match or two before just start feeling sick.
Hmm.
When
I have to avoid that. I don't get sick from playing anything.
my ex was the same way. So when she would watch, on the rare occurrences when she'd actually watch me and my stepson play, we'd look at each other and I just do this little hand motion, and then he would just start walking through, and then just immediately just hit the horizontal stick, and then would just spin in circles, so that like she would get sick and walk out of her room.
Oh, jeez.
She's like, "Yeah, I'm going."
I kind of want to hear this story. Breaking 911 on Twitter. Police: woman sexually assaulted, kidnapped, and robbed female bar patron while impersonating police officer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's MSS News right there.
Tustin, California. On September 13, 2018, Denise Latta entered a local bar in Tustin. She approached the victim and a bartender while presenting a badge similar to those worn by law enforcement officers. Latta then forced the victim to produce an identification card and cut the ID into several pieces. Both the bartender and the victim believed Latta was some sort of law enforcement. Okay, well, they're fucking stupid. What kind of cop cuts up your ID like a maitre d' in a fancy restaurant with a credit card? Lada then forced the victim to leave the bar. Once outside, Lada forced the victim to put her hands on a wall and spread her feet. Lada then searched the victim, touching her breast and groin area over the clothing. That's not even second base these days. Lada then told the victim that she wasn't going to arrest her and told her to leave and never come back to the bar. On November 29th, 2018, the Tustin Police Department's Investigations Unit and the Special Response Team, dear God, that's a mouthful, arrested Lada in Old Town Tustin. Lada was booked in Orange County Jail for kidnapping, robbery, false imprisonment, sexual battery, and impersonating a police officer. When she was arrested, she was in possession of fake badges, identification cards that read agent, and clothing that read fugitive recovery agent. Lada represented herself to detectives as a private detective and bail enforcement officer, which she does not have the proper documentation for. This chick was trying to go all Dog the Bounty Hunter.
So it was a chick who was accosting dudes?
No, as a chick accosting another woman.
Ah. That's kind of weird. There was one, I don't know if it was on MSS News.
Teach women not to rape.
Exactly.
I was wondering if it was, it's just toxic masculinity in women.
Well, I mean, I don't know if let's see how do you present on this thing, because this woman's jawline. I mean,
there you go.
Oh, am I presented now?
Yep.
Yeah. Take a look at that.
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet?
Oh, dear.
Oh.
Yeah. Ain't she a beauty?
Yeah, she's gonna glare a hole through you.
But yeah, look at this jaw. Holy shit.
Yeah. That's a scary looking woman.
That's a trans zombie.
Alright, now how do I get it off the screen sharing? Oh, okay. I'm not still presenting, am I?
Nope.
Okay. Good, because if I don't want to scroll through Twitter here and like I said, I follow porn stars, so nothing's safe.
Yeah, I got a random Facebook or friend request, and I'm like, oh well, let's just see what Pornbot this is. And I swiped, and I'm like, yep, there it is.
Oh, this is definitely MSS newsworthy. How old is this? Luke Skywalker lands in jail after arrest in Tennessee.
No. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. The only reason why I saw it is because Mark Hamill tweeted it out. That's just... Now, see, if he got arrested for assaulting his parents for giving him that name,
yeah,
I'd vote not guilty.
I was thinking that. I mean, that's pretty cruel, naming your kid Luke Skywalker.
Apparently, Sky is his middle name.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's still pretty bad.
Yeah, his parents are obviously hippies.
Or just idiots.
But yeah, being at work, I've just been listening to YouTube. I haven't had a chance to really scroll through Twitter too much. And this past week, I've been... That is a very big ass. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, scrolling through Twitter. Never mind.
You had me a big ass. What's going on?
Somebody tweeted out, I guess this is an Instagram video. It's just a chick standing on a kitchen counter And there's no way that's legit her ass. I'm sensing that's some implants.
Put it in side chat.
Oh.
Or in chat.
Oh, now I gotta. I was just scrolling through Twitter.
Oh.
Oh, that's Malcolm from the North retweeted it. That's why. Yeah, so if you want to know, just head over to Malcolm's Twitter. Shouldn't be that hard to find.
Well, Scribe tweeted this earlier. An Egyptian actress faces up to 5 years in prison if convicted on charges that her dress constituted incitement to debauchery.
Dear God.
Rania Youssef's Lacey. Let's click on that quick. Egyptian actress dressed to impress. She could be jailed for debauchery. Let's go. Let's see what you guys think about that. That over here.
Oh yeah, that slut's totally guilty. I'm getting some debaucherous thoughts just looking at it.
It's debauchery for you.
Pretty insane that debauchery is even a criminal charge.
Let's see. Rania Youssef has apologized for wearing a revealing dress to the Cairo International Film Festival.
Wait, she wore that in Cairo?
In Cairo. When an Egyptian actress threaded down the red carpet in Cairo last week, twirling and smiling in the revealing lace dress, she had hoped to turn heads in the movie world. Instead, now she faces criminal charges that could potentially land her in prison. 3 Egyptian lawyers known for using the courts to engage in moral vigilantism filed a lawsuit against the actress, Rania Youssef, accusing her of wearing an outfit at the Cairo International Film Festival that constituted incitement to debauchery. A trial has been scheduled for January, and Miss Youssef, who's in her 40s, could face a possible 5-year jail term if convicted.
If women in the Middle East look like that, I seriously have to question why they keep throwing sheets over them.
To not feel the debauchery thoughts.
Debauchery is bad.
I beg to differ.
Apparently so. I don't mind it myself, but I mean, clearly these people can't stand it.
Now, is it right hand married, left hand engaged, or is it opposite?
I've never had any intention of getting married, so I couldn't tell you.
You wear the wedding ring on.
I know you wear the wedding ring on the left hand. I have no idea about engagement rings, though.
Because I thought it was engagement. Okay, let's see. Once you're married, tradition dictates the engagement should be moved back to the third finger on your left hand. No.
Are we counting the thumb or no?
Apparently not. Because the third finger, if you count the thumb, would be the middle finger.
Yeah.
Which, if you have the ring that this chick has, I put on my middle finger too. Look what my husband gave me. Bam! It's pretty big. Yeah, it's. Go back to that. And I mean, if that's even a wedding ring, I mean, it could just be decorative.
I mean, look at her. She's showing ankle and everything. My God, what was she thinking?
Yeah. Rather
Yeah,
look it up.
that's a pretty big ring.
Oh, there's a ring in that. Okay, I thought you were looking at like a different page. Yeah, I would not have noticed that for a good long while.
That's usually the first place my eyes go. Let's see how hot she is, and then let's see a ring.
I'm just curious, how many goats would you have to trade her husband to take her off his hands? I'm willing to cut a deal, man. You know, it sounds like she needs a green card at this point.
I think it depends how sexy the goat is.
Well, I am no expert on that, so I'd have to take his word for it.
And that's where they get you. They can just see the hottest goat that they've ever seen. It's only a 5 out of 10. You'll need another one.
Well, wasn't there some girl in Africa got auctioned off on Facebook for like 500 cows? And that was just some random chick, man. You got to wonder what an actress would go for in that market.
Yeah, for sure.
That's at least 700, 750 cows.
You can get several farms for
you know, when I heard that story, all I could think of was that scene from the Blues Brothers when they're in that fancy restaurant. How much? How much for the women?
Let's see. The case is the latest in the series of high-profile prosecutions targeting celebrities in Egypt under the authoritarian rule of President. I'm not going to say that. They are often brought by lawyers claiming to police public morals by regulating attire, behavior, and even jokes under the guise of protecting a brutal version of Egyptian nationalism. See, nationalism is bad. Such prosecutions ultimately fail. The pop singer Shireen Abdel-Wahab, initially sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for an onstage joke about the quality of water in the notoriously dirty Nile, was acquitted on appeal in May. Let's see. The joke about the Nile lands in Egyptian pop queen court. What does she say? You're better off drinking Evian, she said, referring to the brand of French mineral water. A fan asked her to sing the tune, Have you drunk from the Nile? You'd probably get bilharzia, she quipped, referring to the waterborne disease known as schistosomiasis. Miasis. I feel like William Sadler's character in Shawshank Redemption. Miasis. Let's take a look at that. Also known as bilharzia, caused by parasitic worms not found in the United States.
I'm sorry, I keep yawning. I pretty much jumped on as soon as I woke up, so I'm still sort of.
I saw you in the chat, so that's when I sent you the link. I didn't want to send it, when you were still asleep.
Yeah, I saw the link on Twitter. I think it was Camel posted the link to the stream, And I thought it had already finished, so I just clicked on it to watch it. Oh, it's still live. Okay. So I just had it playing until I got the link in the DMs.
Sorry, guys, had to give me something to drink.
Fair enough.
I've been trying to get a hold of Jack, and
Yes, he's
everyone to.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I bet Jack would have something good to riff on with this Facebook post of yours, Johnny.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
By the way, Terry, have you you got a chance to look at what Johnny posted in the side chat?
What did he post in the side chat? Because
Or maybe the whole privilege thing?
because in the chat, all I see is Johnny saying, "Be right back."
Oh,
back.
it's before you got in here. You want to go ahead and tell him the story, Johnny?
I could. Yeah, apparently my friend on the Facebook. I'll repost it. It'll be. It's too long and infuriating to read. Yeah, that's what he posted on Facebook, and it was just after I started watching Lords of the Night, and Setsu was going through the list of 100 ways white people can make life easier for black folk.
Yep. So I'm thinking that they just got a random word generator and put the setting on social justice, and that's what came out.
That sums it up pretty well.
The first thing I asked Johnny when I started reading, like, what the fuck am I reading right here?
Yeah.
It's a trap, is what it is. Like, it's to goad someone into a debate so that he can call someone a racist or a sexist or whatever.
Yep. And I like the end. Listen and believe. That's always great advice. Mother Marty should be behind bars.
I thought about it. I'm just like, oh, I get it. Like,
well, if a majority of the people in this country just did the whole listen and believe thing, Hillary Clinton would be in prison on murder charges.
Listen and believe only works in one direction.
There would be no Hillary Clinton because Bill Clinton would be in jail.
Yeah, I love how that always works out. It's like, believe all women, except for those bitches,
Yeah.
That's always, that should be like a ... except for those bitches.
Well, and I even told him, this stems all the way back to fucking Kavanaugh. And
oh, yeah, this is the same guy, isn't it?
Yep. And I told him, even from the get-go, that I believe something happened. It may not have been, what he said. It might not have been what she said, but something happened between the two of them, probably the three of them, from the sounds of it. And either it was misinterpreted as something that it wasn't, or it's something that freaked her out, and she's like, I'm not going to be here for this. And they either goaded her into it, or something. Or hell, maybe even they did, like, kind of just tag team her. We don't know. But yeah, I think I'm buying into the conspiracy that the DNC, dredged this shit up, and she probably didn't even want to be involved in it.
No, I think everything happened exactly as Christine Blasey Ford suggested, Hell, even Julie Swetnick was right on the money. Everything that anyone ever said about him, all true. Because believe women.
Like, because I was hesitant at first, and then when even your best friends just sort of like, yeah, that's not how that happened.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like, okay, well, how else could it have gone down? And pretty much my made up, what the hell is it called? Deductive thought is she had a huge crush on what's his name, Kavanaugh, and he got freaky, and she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And he probably tried making moves on her, and then the friend got involved, and they probably started making out. Like Kavanaugh and what's his name, they were making out. They did it.
Oh,
they were trying to get her in on it, and she didn't want to go in. And then they probably tried necking her or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I'm out.
There's just too many holes in her story for me, man.
Yeah. I think anyone relying on decades-old memories is doomed from, the human memory is not that good. You can't remember things from 30 years ago with any kind of accuracy.
Well, here's the thing, I don't have any, stories from 30 years ago because, well, shit, I'm only 30. But
You don't remember being born?
It's a little fuzzy.
My memory's so sharp. I remember my conception.
But no, I've had scenarios where chicks tried to be sexually aggressive with me, and I wasn't feeling it. And a lot of those times, alcohol was involved. I was more than the legal limit, and I can tell you every fucking detail about it. And this was years ago. So, if she's actually claiming that these guys attempted to rape her, I gotta assume that you remember more than just their laughter and having one beer.
Yeah, for sure. It's unless you kept watching videos of the incident repeatedly over the course of 30 years, your memories are going to shift. You're going to remember things differently to how they actually happened because human memory is not nearly as reliable as people think it is. You'll remember what you want to remember to an extent, and you'll change the story based on sort of what you think happened rather than what actually happened, and the story will change in your mind over the course of 3 decades.
Well, hell, I've been calling my friend by a name for the longest time, and I finally reconnected with him on Facebook.
Yeah.
Found out I got his last name wrong the entire time I've known him. Not by much, but enough to be like, oh, I didn't think that was your name.
Oh yeah, I remember when I was in grade school, elementary. The school I went to was real small, and for years after leaving that school, I said that we had one black kid that actually went to school with us. No, he was just a really, really fucking dark Indian. And I knew that when we were in school together. But after years of being out of school and not seeing him, I completely forgot that he was an Indian. I was like, I went straight to we had one black dude.
I think it's funny. My dad went to school, and he knew a kid whose nickname was Snorkel. And when I said, like, well, what was his real name? He goes, I have no idea.
See, that would have been my second question. But like the first one would have been, well, how did he get the nickname Snorkel?
Because he had a big nose, I think.
Ah, okay.
So it was like when he was swimming, he could stick his nose above the water, even though he was underneath. But yeah. So, what was his real name? Oh, I've got no idea. Couldn't tell you.
Actually, I take that back. Like my first question would have been like, so was that a sex thing or? No. Oh, well, then how did he get that nickname? And then I'd be like, well, what was his real name? In that order.
It's no, not a sex thing. Apparently, just a big nose thing.
Holy cow!
Oh, this is hilarious. I enjoy following Now This. You guys ever see their tweets?
Sometimes I see them. No, I don't think I follow them though.
I don't follow, but I've seen plenty. They flood my Facebook thing.
3 women wore this smart dress to a club to record how many times they were touched without their consent. The grand total, 157 touches.
Wow.
Okay, so that's 3. Divide that by the 3 women. You're in a dance club. Each woman got touched,
50 times.
50 something times. In a dance club.
It's just going to be incidental touches too. Like if someone accidentally brushes against them while they're dancing, that counts.
Or like if I touch your back as I'm moving behind you, to make sure that you don't take a step back and trip me or yourself. Yeah, that counts as a touch.
Yeah. So yeah, it's scaremongering to a degree, trying to make things sound like people are just getting groped left, right, and center when it's really not.
Yeah, like I mean, well, now that's the one I end up retweeting with like all that crazy food shit. I think that was the one with the falafel waffle too.
Oh wow!
Oh, I think now that you mention it,
and they did one as like it was chicken wings dipped in gold.
Oh wow!
And then they had a couple. I think there was a couple of them where they were talking about like those vapes blowing up. Like one where they showed a video of a dude's vape blowing up in his pants pocket. I was like, say what you want about cigarettes causing cancer or emphysema. They've never nearly burned a man's dick off when they spontaneously combusted in his pocket.
Well, I'm okay with someone who vapes not being able to breathe. That's fine.
Yeah, my friend's gone cold turkey with vaping because he was cigarettes to vaping, and then he went cold turkey. And I talked to him on Wednesday, and it sounded like he had like it sounded like his lungs were outside of his body.
After he quit smoking?
Yeah. He's just wheezing the entire time. And he's like, "Oh no, this is me dying."
Well, I'm sold. I'm gonna smoke until I am in the casket.
My grandfather smoked until he was 72.
If you get cremated, you'll be smoking even after you're in the casket.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you put on the urn. I still have that smoking hot body.
Well, what got me was the whole Bill Hicks routine about Jim Fix versus Yul Brynner. You know, because Yul Brynner had that commercial after he died. You know, I'm Yul Brynner and I'm dead now because I smoked cigarettes.
Uh-huh.
And Jim Fix was a health nut who actually wrote a book about jogging. He dropped dead from a heart attack.
Yeah. Which comedian was this again?
It was Bill Hicks.
Right. Because I know I've heard that bit before. I just couldn't figure out which one. Yeah, that's right. It's Bill Hicks.
Which I found Bill Hicks when I was a teenager, which is why I liked him so much. You know, he was. If you go back if you go back and listen to him, you know, more than once, it does lose its funniness to a degree.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the guy, he referred to himself as Chomsky with dick jokes. So, but yeah, like, you know, listening to his material, you know, the first couple times through, it was really funny, and then after a while, you're just like, yeah, okay, yeah, makes sense, whatever.
That's the same with all comedy, though. It doesn't stand up to constant repetition.
Well, like what got me was you know, I heard his material for the first time in like 2006, 2007.
Mm.
And what got me was he had a bit about the Iraq War, and I thought it was current material
Yeah.
because that's how, you know, that's how accurate it seemed.
Well, there's always an Iraq War. Always.
Well, the one thing he said, can we stop calling it a war? A war is when two armies fight, and this was like at the height of the insurgency. But they had that Monkey in the Morning stream when they were talking about stand-up comics, and so I think it was Gutenberg talking about Dennis Leary.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
And so I used that old joke as like, you know, why is Dennis Leary famous and Bill Hicks is virtually unknown? Because there's no cure for cancer.
Yeah. Whenever Dennis Leary gets brought up, I always mention when Greg Giraldo just absolutely destroyed him.
That was beautiful.
That was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like,
I still rewatch that just because it was so effortless the way Greg Giraldo just put him down.
Well, it showed how, you know, even, you know, as a, you know, people think comedians, you know, you just get up there and talk and like, oh well, anybody can do that. It's like, no, these guys actually sit down and they write jokes.
Yeah.
You know.
And well, and even comedy writing, his show would still be on the air.
Yeah.
And Leary, you know, he was just, you know, sitting there in the sunglasses and the leather jacket, and he was just, you know, he was surfing on the persona that he didn't even fucking create.
Well, and even he even, like he said, he's like, I didn't even realize that, like, you were supposed to, you know what we were talking about when you go on the show. It was just supposed to, it was just go on and say what you think.
Yeah.
And he's like, and what's really funny is Greg Giraldo was a lawyer.
Yes.
And that's, you know.
And so, yeah, like he's not going, you know, half-assed. He is going to know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when he got on there and he's just like, he just spanked him hard. And it was priceless.
Like, you know, Giraldo was one of the main reasons why I would watch the Comedy Central roast, you know, until he died.
Greg Giraldo was one of my favorite comedians. He was brilliant. He was a very, very smart guy.
You know, Jeff Ross, you know, he's the roast master. You know, he's, you know, but, you know, Giraldo, you know, he would steal the show.
Yeah, for sure.
And like even his, you know, his just regular stand up, you know, was great. I thought he was, you know, awesome.
Have you guys seen the tribute video for him?
I think maybe I
might, yeah, I might have, but you know, it's
been called It's called "Give It Up for Greg Giraldo."
Oh yeah, yeah. Like didn't they play that on Comedy Central like after he passed?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I
and
saw it.
even Dennis Leary was talking about that, and he's just like, yeah, like he let me have it. Like,
Yeah. No, I have seen it then because I do remember Dennis Leary just coming straight out and saying, "Yeah, look, he got the better of me on that one. It's like I was completely in the wrong and I was being a jackass."
and then when it got to like Nick Swartzen, learned it, like when he was talking about when he found out that
Oh
he
yeah,
passed
he
away,
started crying, didn't
he
he?
started crying, and I'm just like, don't show me this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, if Nick Swartzen of all people is bawling, that's
Yeah, because like didn't Hedberg pass away like around the same time as Geraldo?
I don't think so.
Mitch Hedberg was 30th of March 2005.
Oh wow, it's been that long.
Yeah,
And
it's been a long
Geraldo
time.
was 2010. So the 5 years.
Okay, 5 years
apart.
apart. Wow, for some reason in my
But
mind I had them way close together.
I think it was the same way.
Yeah, yeah, it was both of them OD'd. Like wait, was Geraldo also on heroin? Because
Um,
that's how Hedberg bit it. He was
Yeah,
doing speedballs.
he was doing that. He was doing coke.
on
Yeah, yeah.
Wikipedia, it says overdosed on prescription medication for Greg Giraldo.
Okay. Because I know Geraldo used to do coke, but I didn't
Yeah,
know if he was doing like heroin or anything like that. But yeah, Hedberg, he died it was from a speedball combination cocaine heroin.
That doesn't surprise me. I imagine those things kill a lot of people.
Apparently, he was so addicted, like he was going all like Requiem for a Dream, like he was shooting up like gangrenous parts of his body.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Lane Staley is like always the one that I immediately think of when I think of just absolutely being destroyed by heroin.
I think Scott Whelan was the same way too.
Yeah, oh no, he was. But like, in my first thought is always of Lane Staley because
Yeah.
you could hear it in his music. That ship just destroyed him.
The ones that always got me were the ones like Shannon Hoon or
Oh, what's he from? Blind
Blind
Melon?
Melon, yeah, and shit, Bradley, the singer from Sublime.
no,
No, yeah, those two got me harder than like Lane Staley or anybody else because like
Hmm.
their voice and their music it sounded so upbeat. And it was just hard for me to fit that in my mind with
Yeah,
heroin. When I hear like Lane Staley, yeah, I think heroin.
yeah. Like Lane Staley for me, I didn't discover Alice in Chains until long after Staley was already dead. Um, so there was no emotional impact from hearing about his death, but just listening to the music, knowing what he was going through, you can hear the pain in his voice and in the lyrics. Like this stuff really destroyed him, and that's just why I formed such a strong connection between the two.
And what gets me is like when they try and keep going on, like
Yeah,
Alice in Chains or Sublime. It's not like AC/DC. You know, with AC/DC when they had Brian Johnson come in, he had a different sound,
yeah.
and so it kind of became like his band.
But the other
Whereas
thing is,
with Alice in Chains and Sublime, it's like they just picked a dude who kind of sounded like
but for me, the big difference is ACDC wasn't Bon Scott's band. It was
a band that
ACDC.
Bon Scott was in. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Lane Staley was Alice in Chains. There is no Alice in Chains without him. It'd be like the Doors without
Jim Morrison.
James Morrison. They're the band, and everyone else is just supporting.
And that's like the band that came out after Lane Staley passed away. I don't know if it was just a solo thing that the guy put together, but it sounded so much like Alice in Chains that it might as well have just been like a tribute band.
Right. Okay.
I'm trying to remember what the band was. I mean, the guy did really good. He put it together really well, but
Yeah,
that
is the one drug that I told myself I would never try. It's heroin.
Oh yeah, no chance.
Most everything else, I was like, try it once at least.
No, I'm steering clear of any drugs that haven't been prescribed. No thanks.
Well, I just wanted to see how full of shit that dare officer was that showed up at my school when I was a kid. Turns out, quite a lot. That's how full.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried marijuana once and I didn't like it, and so I don't feel compelled to experiment with other illicit substances. It just
I actually got high once and then bumped into my dare officer.
Oh god, that would be a bad trip.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was really funny because I played it off really well. Like I wasn't completely obliterated, but I mean I was pretty good. But yeah, as soon as I walked up and I'm like, "Oh hey, Mister, what's going on?" He's just like, "It's like, do I know you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you were my dare officer back, a few back in Lincoln." And he goes, "Oh hey," and then kind of just it pulled up in his head. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's been a long time." Like, oh yeah, it's been since I was like 7, like, and now I'm 27. Like,
well, like what got me was because they would pop up periodically. It wasn't like every year you had a dare officer in class with you. So like I remember like the one in grade school, like the first time I encountered them. They're giving you the whole standard line, and it was mostly focused on like marijuana and like alcohol at that point. And they talked about how marijuana is a gateway drug and this and that. And by the time I got to high school, I'd been smoking pot, and no one had offered me crack cocaine or heroin, so I figured they were full of shit.
Did they ever actually say drugs are bad? Okay.
Not in that specific wording, but that was the gist of it. But when I got to high school, my senior year, they had a dare officer come in, and by that point, I was on the debate team, and I had researched the drug laws, federal drug laws in America for a speech I wrote as to why we should decriminalize pot. I wrote the speech when I was high. I delivered that speech when I was high, and I walked up to the stage at the competition to collect my first place trophy, higher than giraffe pussy. And,
If I give a speech on why not to take drugs, it'd just be then I got high by Afro Man. That'd be my speech.
I was gonna clean my room, but then I got high.
or you could play like there's an old Red Fox moment when he just went off on everyone, and then as he walked off, they played the theme to Sanford and Son. So you just go in completely high, do your speech, and then just walk off to Sanford and Son.
No, what was funny though, like that dare officer my senior year, and since I had been researching all these different drugs, and I do mean that by actually reading about them, not taking all of them. I decided I was going to start asking questions that I figured he didn't get that often. So I started asking about like hallucinogens. Because at that point, it was all, at that point they moved on from like, pot and booze to, well, this is methamphetamine. This is why you shouldn't take it. Here's some pictures of meth mouth. Don't do meth, kids. It's like, well, what about acid? What about mushrooms? Have you heard of ayahuasca? What about DMT, Officer McFriendly? Can I do that one? And this poor guy, he had no clue what the fuck I was talking about. I think he knew about acid. Never heard of DMT, never heard of ayahuasca.
I'm gonna give a 10-minute warning here.
Yeah, no.
We've been going pretty long.
And I wasn't even here for like the first half hour of it.
Oh, you were here, just off in the distance.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I can go get breakfast once we end this then, if it's only going to be in 10 minutes. Because I was starting to get hungry, so that's good timing.
Yeah. I haven't eaten yet either, so
it's about bedtime for me. I'm going to go grab me a bite and go lay down.
I'm going to go buy me some lottery tickets.
I wonder how many people I'm going to have to kick out of the store tonight. Oh, that's another thing. I don't think you were. No, you just popped in at that point, didn't you, Terry? I was talking about throwing those dudes out again.
Yes, that's when I came in.
Right. And it's just those two dudes. Anybody else that I've had to kick out never comes back.
Well, they realize that they're not welcome.
Yeah, you would figure, having a guy who's, over 6 feet tall and over 200 pounds say, get the fuck out, would make clear enough.
They are the antithesis of your sitcom. Like, they are your sitcom foes.
They are my Newman. That's what they are. And that is the only Seinfeld reference you'll ever get from me, because that's the only one I remember from the show.
You weren't a fan?
I was a kid when that show aired. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, a show about nothing when you're, in grade school doesn't make any sense.
I made one Super Chat reference on a Lords of the Night stream when they talked about, I don't remember what they were talking about, actually. But Scribe made the comment about double dipping.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And I said the Super Chat, I'm like, that's like putting your mouth on the dip.
See, like that's the thing. Like, I never sat down and watched Seinfeld, but I know all these references. Like Soup Nazi and the double dipping, and
yeah,
I've watched 5 episodes, and those are the ones that I watched. Like
I remember, like the suede jacket and like the pirate shirt.
Yes, the puffy shirt.
Yeah,
and,
but like. I just always remembered Newman as being the fat fuck from Jurassic Park that nobody liked on that show.
That's pretty accurate.
These two are the fat fucks that nobody likes at in my neighborhood.
Because I was a fan of Seinfeld. I watched it at the time that it came out. It's I haven't watched it in a long time. It's sort of fallen off my radar, but.
Well, these days the only references I ever get to Seinfeld is listening to Bering doing his soundboard on the salt mine streams.
Oh, okay.
No, I've never caught one of those.
I never catch them live. I always end up listening to them while I'm at work.
I have too much on my entertainment plate for multiple live streams, so if I'm not on the stream, it's going to be Lords of the Night and Minions would be the main ones that I watch.
Oh yeah, those are probably the only ones. Like Monkey in the Morning or Breakfast with Bear. I'll catch those live. Because they're starting when I'm at work and getting off work.
Monkey in the Morning is usually at a time where I can't watch it, or it's at a time when I'm busy doing something, and like, no, I'll skip this one.
Well,
You know,
that's really the only benefit that I have working nights is since it's the middle of the night, not a lot of people coming in.
Yeah.
So while I'm sitting there cleaning and stocking and everything, I can just put an earbud in and listen to my phone, which does my data on my phone plan no favors. But
I'll bet.
luckily, I don't. You know, it's unlimited, so I mean, they may throttle it, but they can't stop me.
well, yeah, YouTube is a. Oh, go ahead.
Mine is charged at exorbitant rates. So I get like half a gig, and then if I burn through that, it's $10 for every additional gig if I use my phone. So I don't use my phone for much.
Well, let me put it to you this way. I paid my phone bill, because I have a like pay as you go,
Yeah.
and it's unlimited data and everything on there. But like they give you a warning after 2 gigs. Say, hey, you've been using a lot of data, so don't be surprised if you get buffering now.
Yeah, fair enough.
I paid my phone bill to start my new month's, plan Friday morning.
Yeah.
I hit 2 gigs about 2-3 hours into my shift, so about 1 a.m. Saturday.
Jesus.
Because when I only go to work and home, and work is the only time that I don't have my phone connected to my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I think listening to like one live stream, I ate up like 2 gigabytes of data.
Yeah, it goes quick. I think I can watch about 20 minutes of YouTube before I get, the 50% warning. There's not much point using it for anything like a video. It's just too expensive.
But the way I do it is if I miss a live stream or something like that, like I have different playlists on
Yeah.
on YouTube. So if there's a live stream that I want to watch or listen to while I'm at work, I'll put it in my live stream playlist, and then I have like watch later for just like regular videos when people upload one, which is hardly ever anymore.
Could you download the live stream so that it doesn't download it using your Wi-Fi onto your phone so that you can listen to it without burning through your data?
I don't pay for YouTube, so I don't have any way to download.
Well, there's websites that can do it.
Oh, there's websites that can do it?
I don't know them off the top of my head, but if you do a Google search on download YouTube video, yeah, there's websites where you put in the YouTube link and it spits out an MP4 or MP3 or whatever format you tell it you want. It'll convert it for you.
So I just took a Twitter poll.
Oh wow, that's like the second search result on Google. I just hit download and download YouTube videos. That's number 2.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I use God, what the hell is it called? 4K video downloader.
Yeah, there's plenty of them. If you want to download a YouTube video, you don't have to get YouTube Premium. You just use one of the sites.
They also have one for like Instagram and stuff like that.
I had was the YouTube Red for like a month.
Was that because it was free for a month?
Exactly, and I wanted to watch the Cobra Kai.
Okay.
Like they got me with that first episode because I was thinking, like, oh man, not another reboot, not another remake. I was like, well, you know what? I'll at least watch the first episode. So if I decide to talk shit about it, I got an idea. I think the first 2 episodes were free.
Yeah.
And like by the time I got to like the second episode, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll go ahead and pay $10 for this.
I've never paid for YouTube Red or Premium or whatever they're calling it. I've gotten 2 free trials.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, by the time I finished Cobra Kai, I started looking around. I was like, well, what else they got on here? I was like, oh, well, fuck no, I'm not paying for any of this. Yeah, go ahead, cancel that.
It's all garbage.
The only thing I used it for was no ads. That was the only benefit I got from YouTube Red, was because I didn't download any videos and I didn't watch any of the YouTube special shows like whatever they were. I just watched YouTube as I normally did, but had no ads for, I think it was 3 months. Like the first one was a 1 month trial, and the second one was a 3 month trial. So 4 months in total of no ads.
Well, I knew if I went ahead and kept it, I would have to start making videos to justify paying YouTube to watch YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I'm gonna have to learn how to make videos. I'm gonna have to, do something with this. What's the point of having this, capability to download this stuff if I'm not going to respond to it? Like, I'm not gonna just sit there and watch a Riley Dennis video for the hell of it.
Well,
actually, that's wrong. I do watch Riley Dennis videos for the hell of it, just because I want to see what that goofy bastard's saying, and try and figure out, okay, who's going to do the response to this one.
Yeah.
So far, it's been pretty safe money betting on Sinatra.
Yeah, well, Sinatra's making the rounds.
Well, for me, he's kind of Riley has kind of fallen off the radar for a lot of the response video channels. Like they've just given up on him. Apart from Sinatra, they're just fed up with him. They're sort of like, yeah, I don't care about Riley anymore.
I guess Sinatra might be trying to get back into the video making game.
Yeah.
You got to start somewhere.
Try and recreate 2016 or 15 or whenever Riley was the thing to talk about.
Well, I mean, it just, Riley just keeps going. That's the thing. Like, everybody that I've ever watched on YouTube has made a response to Riley, I think. I mean, barring like Sargon.
Yeah.
But I think if I ever did do, videos, I think I would go ahead and get Riley out of the way first.
I think it'd
be that fish in the barrel.
Well, yeah, you get that easy layup to kind of get get in the game.
If they came out with another reasonable questions for anti-SJWs, I might make a response to that just because the first one was so stupid. So if they make another one, I might. Because it's obviously way too late to respond to the first one. But yeah, that's one of my favorite videos to watch responses to.
That's why I will always love Adindro's response to Christy Winters.
What did he say?
She said something about might have been the pejorative thing, and then he just in a light voice goes, "Well, Christy," and then he answers her question. He goes, "You're a bitch."
That reminds me. I haven't seen Christy on Twitter recently. She gone like radio silent.
Oh no, she's still on.
One of my favorite responses to that was vernaculars, because if you remember, one of Christie's questions was this pretentious thing about, well, if you claim to be an egalitarian, what do you think about this particular book written by an egalitarian? And vernaculars actually came out and said, this is my opinion of the book, because everyone else dismissed it as like, that's not a real question. You're just showing off your education. But vernaculars came down and said, well, here's what I think. I think he's right about this and this and this, but not so right about this. And actually goes into a completely ridiculous question. But he took it.
And then he's like, yeah, I think I'm the only one to answer that question. So, like,
he was not the only one to answer the question. The Prim Reaper also did give her thoughts on, but vernaculars did it first by quite a heavy margin.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see Prim Reaper's response to it.
Well, Prim Reaper did it like almost a year after it was popular. She just started her YouTube channel, and like one of the things I always wanted to do was respond to this. So even though it's really, really late, I'm just going to do it now.
And I don't
three-part series on it.
Yeah, and I don't remember who it was, and he just goes, "I didn't read it because I didn't need to."
Yeah.
Why does that sound like something Satsu would say?
It might have been. It was either Satsu or God. Who was it? I can't remember who it was.
But yeah, it's always fun just watching the replies to that thing, because like half of the questions were just not really unreasonable, but not reasonable either, and the other half were just ridiculous. Like everything Steve Shives asked.
Well,
Or
like
anything
for me, it was
I asked.
yeah, about the skulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that guy.
My response to him would have been like, "Why is Michael Rollins ever wearing a shirt in any of his videos?"
Yeah. But the whole thing, what is it with you people in skulls? You mean like Sean and Jen? Like the very, very social justicey guy who has a skull as an avatar? Is like, and then the other one was, why do you always hide behind cartoon avatars with ranting feminist and Chrisiosity in that video using cartoon avatars?
I've got a question. Sean and Jen, is this like a multiple personality disorder? Is there a
Okay,
Jen?
there
Is she
is a
buried
Jen.
under Sean's floorboards? What's the story here?
So, from what I've been able to work out, Sean and Jen were friends. I don't know if they're still friends, but they split up in terms of the YouTube channel. So it's now just called Sean. But yeah, his is
Yeah.
Oh, you're
was
kind
a
of
real
cutting out there,
person.
Terry.
What's that?
You kind of cut out there for a minute.
Oh, okay. So Sean and Jen is a real person. They were friends, and as I understand it, they parted ways. I don't know if the friendship ended, but the partnership for YouTube certainly did. And now it's just called Sean.
Hmm. Yeah, I've only ever seen that person on Twitter, so I've never actually seen any of their videos.
Sean is kind of like the leftist TLD, and they both hate that comparison. Um, but
So so he's pretty much what Ambien takes when it wants to fall asleep.
yes, he's got a very monotonous voice, just like TLD, and he's very, very responded, shall we say. He's about as boring as TLD to watch, but you know, the facts are there. It's just you
Actually, I
can
like
question.
Tildeer.
What's that?
Actually, I like Tildeer stuff.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
I
yeah,
I mean,
like
yeah, he's not riveting or anything, but it's more over just like that professor. I think
yeah.
we were talking about this before, and then I showed the picture that he was on the honey badger.
yeah. When he's on the Honey Badgers having
But they
I,
the
could talk.
jacket with the patches, the elbow patches.
Yeah.
I like Tildeer, but there's no denying boring in terms of his very, very monotonous.
Oh yeah, and
Oh,
he's even
definitely,
admitted that too.
yeah.
Yeah,
But he's kind of he for me he was like the palate cleanser. You watch Shu or somebody else,
yeah. Well, he was.
and it's funny and entertaining or everything, but then I go and listen to like Teal Deer, and it's like, well, at least I'm getting something informative here, and
Yeah,
He's the one you
kind
want
of
to
the
watch
halfway point.
when you, cause if you watch like Shoe on Hen, she's all over the fucking screen,
Yeah.
and then you'll watch like Grand Rickham, and he's all over the place, and
Oh God, yeah.
it's like I'll watch Teal Deer where I can just get the information and it'll just come right at me. There's no
yeah,
gimmick to it.
Yeah, for me, he was kind of like the halfway point between just funny but fact based. Like, because he does have jokes in his videos. They're subtle British humor, but there are jokes in there. But he's also very, very fact oriented.
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I liked about him. He was like my Joe Friday of YouTube, just the facts.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut out because I think we've blown past the 10-minute warning, and
Yes, we did.
It's like a half-hour warning now.
I'm getting hungry and sleepy, so I'm going to try and eat before I pass out.
All right.
Right.
Well, it's been fun as always to talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Great having you
I'll
in.
see you around.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye.